everybody. The big news here in Richmond, it's not raining. In fact, the sun may be coming out. And we're ready for the Pontiac Excitement 400. I'm Bill Weber. Dave Despain did the truck race yesterday in Tucson, had some travel plans that fell apart. Couldn't quite get here, but he sent his notes, so we can go ahead with NASCAR today. It looks like we'll get this one in. Yesterday, we had some rain problems, but we did get in the Busch race, 250 laps here. Mark Martin to victory lane in a wild finish. More on that later. The big story here, the starting grid. 43 cars lined up on 1996 owner points and postmarks for the back half of the field. On the front row, the Hendrick combination, the 5 of the 24, Labonte and Gordon. Then it's the Dale and Dale show. Dale Jarrett still looking for his first short track victory. Sterling Marlin going for his 300th win. Hey, look back there, 23 and 24, Benson and Gordon. Benson was good here last year. Robbie was good yesterday afternoon. 31 through 43, those guys were established on postmarks. So the most valuable player there, whoever handles the mail, because they got their entry in and got their car in the field. The big story on the track, Jeff Gordon. He's won the first 2 races this season. No one's ever won the first 3. When you talk about Jeff, well, usually it's Gordon. You didn't think I was thinking about Burton or Bodine, did you?
I'm planning on winning. I know that it's hard to go against the other Jeff, the one that spells his name correctly. You know, there's 3 Jeffs, but only 2 of us spell them correctly. The other one, he's goofy. He spells his name funny. So it's really just 2 Jeffs. Although he was here before we were, his name's spelled funny. So there's really only 2 Jeffs. But the 24 car, he's kind of hard to beat. But he's in our focus. You know, we got him right there. He's in the bullseye. We're ready to go get him.
Unfortunately, Jeff with a J. He has a G in his name as his last name. Probably is the odds favorite of winning. I mean, he's won both races so far this year, and he runs really good here. So I guess if I was a betting man, maybe I'd bet on him. But I'm not a betting man. I'm a racer. I drive this QVC Ford, so I'm betting on me. All right. Jeff with a G.
Okay, well, it could be a Jeff in victory lane today. Of course, it could be a history-making day if Jeff Gordon, once he comes out of this rig, gets to his car and takes it to victory lane after 400 laps. Jeff's starting on the front row, but he's got a teammate that's going to start at the very rear of this field after trouble yesterday in practice. For more on that, let's go to Dr. Jerry Punch.
Well, Ricky's been craving a win thus far this year. And Ricky, right now you're craving a good start because of, unfortunately, what happened yesterday in happy hour. The car went out. We saw it abruptly turn off turn 2 as if someone had just grabbed the steering wheel and jerked it. What happened?
Yeah, someone did. You know, it's been a great start, Jerry, and but it hasn't come without a few mistakes, and that was the situation yesterday. But again, a great start. I'm so happy to be with this crowd. Great team. We're going to have a great year, and we need to stop making mistakes, but it's also part of learning. It's part of the growing pains a little bit. I told Rick a few minutes ago I want to go to Atlanta, win the pole, so we can try it from that end of the field. But starting last didn't hurt us too bad in Daytona. Let's see how it works out today.
Now, what about the fact the crash itself? I mean, the car there that you had obviously had to go be pushed away. You've gone to a backup car. How comfortable are you with the new car?
Well, it's part of the advantage of being with Hendrick Motorsports is that we have so many cars, and when we wrecked the car yesterday, they gave me a ride in, hopped out, hopped in the other car, and went right back out. And you know, I've never been in that situation where I could feel that comfortable and have that much belief in the people and the program around me, and a lot of confidence in the cars. You know, whether we had 1 here or we had 5.
All right, back in Daytona, he went from 40th to 3rd. Today, he hopes to go from 43rd to 1st. Let's go to Ray Dunlap.
Well, thank you, Jerry. The new T-shirt campaign here in this team is Revive the 25, and the man in charge of that is brand new crew chief Andy Graves. He took over last week at Rockingham, and Randy, we just saw the video of that race car being demolished yesterday. Yeah. You, as the crew chief, have to set the car rotation. What does this do to the new picture, man? You've got a brand new deal to work on.
Well, yeah, we're very fortunate that car there, we didn't have it in the rotation until later in the month, so it's not really going to hurt us right off. But we need, as soon as we get back, we need to send it to our chassis shop, and Eddie Dickerson and the boys will get her fixed up for us and be ready to run again later in the month.
This race car that you're standing by right now that Ricky will drive today is number 25012. That's the serial number, but the car that was wrecked yesterday was number 07. That means it's an older race car. Why did you choose to bring an older race car here to Richmond?
Well, we shook down Tuesday at Concord, something we like to do to make sure we don't have any leaks or the brakes are working good and everything. And Ricky just felt more comfortable at the time with 7. And so we decided to take 7. After yesterday, we unloaded 12 here and run that, and he really liked 12. So all of our cars, Hendrick Motorsports does a great job building cars, and they're all pretty close, but we just felt that 07 might be a little bit better, but I think it's about a toss-up.
So Andy Graves, the crew chief today, will be watching Ricky Craven. Let's go back to Bill Weber.
Okay, Ray, that's a lot of Chevrolet news, but don't you Ford fans worry. Big news about the Thunderbird, and we'll talk to BP when we continue from RIR in a minute. Well, it rained here on Friday, so what did everybody do? They read, and a lot of them read a story in the Wall Street Journal that talked about the Ford Motor Company getting out of the Thunderbird making business. We talked to Jack Roush about the possibilities that exist for the future.
The Ford Winston Cup racers have been severely limited in their expectation with this Thunderbird we're racing today, based on the fact that it's as large as it is relative to the Monte Carlo. For years I thought that Chrysler might come in with a 4-door sedan, based on the fact they don't have a 2-door that's a reasonable size for the Winston Cup format. But I don't think there's any doubt that in either, very likely in 98, certainly by 99, that the Ford racers will have a 4-door Taurus of some configuration that will be competing in Winston Cup. Ford, from my understanding, does have a car on the drawing boards that is planned for 1999 or possibly sooner in a limited version that does have a silhouette that would be more reasonable that they have been working on. There have been a certain amount of blues associated with the package that we've had to race, all the Ford racers, for some time. We've had our hat in our hand asking for consideration here and asked for a consideration there and never gotten really what we needed in order to be competitive. This will break the ice and give us a chance to get back on even par if Ford does what I think they're doing, and if NASCAR will come back and extend the consideration.
Okay, Friday, Ford had no comment on that story in the Wall Street Journal, but it has been the talk of the garage. Speaking of Fords, well, Dr. Jerry Punch is with a driver of one that's going to start 6th in today's race. Doc?
And we actually had Landon Rudd operating the camera a minute ago for Corky here, trying to show Corky a few pointers. Landon will be 2.5 here in about a week. There is Landon, young man, with his father, Ricky Rudd. Let me ask you, Ricky, having some family fun here before the race starts. The concern yesterday, the announcement out of I guess it was an article in the Wall Street Journal about Ford no longer having the Thunderbird. You're an owner and a driver. How does that impact you?
Well, Jerry, you know, we're concerned, but, you know, these, you know, the body style we got's good for quite some time, and we'll probably be the last to hear about it. But, you know, Ford guys are pretty sharp. If in fact the Thunderbird is phased out, I don't believe that's the case, but if that is the case, you know, they've got a car now I'm sure they're working on that we haven't been exposed to it yet, but I'm sure they've got some other cars that could fill the void. We're not real concerned about it. We know that Ford's going to have a good race car out there, whether it's a Ford, whatever it's going to be. It's going to be some type of Ford product. Not really concerned about it too much.
How about a 4-door? They got some pretty good-looking 4-doors. When that NASCAR ride-along program, me and Benny and Bob could ride in the back.
That's right. We'll just take the Mustang if we have to, or the Ford Probe or the Taurus. We'll be happy with that.
All right, Ricky Rudd, a former winner here at Richmond. He won 13 years ago. After a wild ride in Daytona, he came to Richmond and made it all worthwhile. Bill?
Well, Jerry, you remember all the excitement and even a little controversy when the Monte Carlo came back a few years ago for the GM guys. So this Ford story and the disappearance of the Thunderbird could be pretty interesting over the next few weeks and, of course, the next several months. Hey, Benny Parsons, what do you think about that? The Thunderbird ending production at the end of 1997. What's going to happen?
Well, you know, the guys here at the racetrack from Ford keep saying, hey, it's not official yet. The Ford Thunderbird isn't dead yet. But, you know, Ford, they're in the business of selling race cars. And Mark Martin, Rusty Wallace, Bill Elliott, they won a lot of races in the last 10 years, but still, Ford is not selling enough Thunderbirds. And maybe Ford hasn't won enough championships with that Thunderbird. In the last 10 years, we look at the graphic in the last 10 years, the Ford has only won twice, in 1988 and in 1992 with Kowicki. So, but I think that it is a Ford, and that's exactly, the nameplate says Ford. I don't know if it's a Taurus or it's a Thunderbird. I think the manufacturer, that's what they're concerned about, that they sell the whole company and not a particular brand.
Okay, BP, thanks a lot. More from you later on. We got racing coming up here where they turn left, but the NHRA, they don't turn left. They go straight, and they will Sunday, March 23rd on a pay-per-view event for $14.95. Plenty of excitement down here. The drivers getting ready for driver introductions. Shortly, they'll be in their cars for the start of the Pontiac Excitement 400. Now, one guy that's been to victory lane here 5 times is Dale Earnhardt. They talk about how he hasn't been to victory lane in a while, but wait a minute. Your truck was in victory lane yesterday at Tucson. That Hornaday guy did it again.
Yeah, the Hornaday's pretty tough, and he's exciting, but he drove a good race. He used his head. Looked like all the talk after Orlando helped. You know, we lost the truck down there, and he'd been bruised up for a while, so good comeback, good save there. He come back and win the race. That's good it's pretty good for the Napa truck to win the Napa 200.
You came out of the rig at Rockingham after finishing 11th last week. You were already smiling when you were talking about coming here to Richmond. You're excited about today.
Well, we are, and you know, we just got to get things going here. Larry and I are working good together. We just got to seems like we just can't get everything in the same bag as quick as we want to, but it's coming together, and we got some ideas about it this race, every race we're going to, but I think maybe practice hurt us. We like to practice a little more, but we got a good idea from what little bit we did get, so hopefully the rain will hold off. We'll get us a couple hundred laps in here and race and win the race.
That number 3 car knows how to get to victory lane here, Dale. This is a good track for you. You do have 5 wins here.
Well, we do, and you know, this racetrack, since it's been changed, I think I've just got 1 here or so, but I want to get to victory lane in style, not like Burton did yesterday.
Okay, we'll go as an owner yesterday and a driver today. How's that sound?
That sounds good to me. You know, Steve Park did pretty good, finishing 3rd yesterday in the Busch race, so we're happy with our weekend so far.
Okay, that's Dale Earnhardt looking for a win here. Dr. Punch.
Well, we're eavesdropping over here at the 5th green, see if they can make their putt. Oh, this is not golf, I'm sorry. But we have to whisper because we're eavesdropping on Terry Labonte and Dale Jarrett here. Let's see if we can go in here. Is this a good story, guys? This looks like you're talking some serious racing here where the hand signals are moving.
Well, not really. It wasn't racing, was it?
No, not at all? Not really, no. We're just reminiscing and talking about things of the future.
All right, reminiscing, talking about things of the future. Let me ask you a little bit, guys. Today, obviously the weather, a little bit of a concern, but they're talking maybe this will hold off the afternoon. Does that come in the back of your mind or the front of your mind with regard to how you play it in this race?
Well, a little bit, you know. It's really hard to say, you know, how long the weather will hold off, but if you only get half of it in and it looks like it's getting closer, then you know, they'll call the race at the halfway point, so it's important to be up towards the front, you know, if that happens.
Well, you start up there, and DJ, you've been up there most of last year at Richmond.
Yeah, I think what this will cause you to do today is think about any adjustments under your pit stop because of track position. If you lose track position and know there's a chance of rain right after halfway, you might not take that chance. You might just make a small adjustment otherwise and try to stay up there. So, yeah, you race as hard as you can every single lap, so you want to be up there if you possibly can, but I think pit strategy is going to play into the factor here. Hopefully we can run all 400 laps. That's what these people all come to see.
Let's hope so. 2 of the best are handling their pits today, Dale Jarrett and Terry Labonte. Let's go back to Bill.
Okay, and yesterday Jeff Gordon wanted to qualify this field by running literally around the racetrack. So you found out you needed 50 more pounds, so that wasn't such a good idea, huh?
Well, I found out there's some drivers that got longer legs than me, so I figured that wasn't a good idea anyway.
Okay, we talked earlier this morning. Going for 3 in a row. Never been done before. No pressure.
I'm not even thinking about that 3 in a row. You guys are making way too big of a deal out of this 3 in a row. You know, we're just really trying to go out and just keep a consistent thing going. And, I mean, if that means a top 5 or a top 10, we'll be real happy with that and be content with whatever it is. But if we find ourselves in position, heck, yeah, we're going to try to win.
Does that mean the 32 in a row is out of the question?
I think that's pretty much impossible, but it can't hurt to try.
How was your car in that hour?
It was pretty good. You know, I think that the track's different now than it was yesterday, and I think it's going to change all day long, and the guys that can adjust, you know, and communicate the best will be the guys to beat there at the end.
All right, good luck.
Thanks.
Okay, that's another one of the Jeffs in the field. Now to a Ray.
Well, thank you, Bill. Standing here with Chad Little. And, Chad, I want to know, did you send your secretary a dozen roses for getting that postmark in early?
She'll get them on Monday, guaranteed. That gives me a chance to, if she is watching, I want to thank Mary. She's our secretary, receptionist, and she did a good job. We owe it to her. I mean, that's why we got in this race.
Today you're going to have a lot of practice going around race cars, starting in the back of the field.
Well, that's the point. I mean, since we are starting back there, the goal will be to go around a lot of cars. We have 400 laps to do it, too.
Let me ask you one thing. Back in 1991, you ran the full season in Winston Cup. How much has it changed from 91 to 97?
Quite a bit, actually. I was talking about that the other day with our crew members. You know, we ran the last 4 years in the Busch Series, and I think during those 4 or 5 years, it's changed a ton. It's gotten so much more competitive because of the popularity of the sport, which attracts, better drivers, more dollars to the team, which allows them to do more research and development, allows them to spend more money in areas where before they just kind of took it for granted, and it's really gotten more competitive. The times show it, too. The tires have gotten better, and it's all the way around across the board. It's more competitive.
Battling up through the field is going to be a big thing for you today, but what about those pit stalls? A very unique situation here at Richmond. You're going to be sharing a pit.
Well, obviously, that's not a real good deal. I mean, the alternative of not, having more cars start the race is worse, but to share a pit, I mean, both teams are at a disadvantage, and what you try to do is we work with the crew chief, which is Bob Johnson for Junie's team, and whoever's ahead at the time of a caution pits first, and then you just work around that. So, we have to share their equipment. They have to share some of ours, and it's kind of a cluster. I mean, everybody's running into each other, but it's the way you have to do it here.
Well, the John Deere Pontiac has its work cut out for him, but at least he's in the field.
Okay, Ray, and pit strategy will play out big here today. And next week we go to Atlanta. We got Winston Cup qualifying on Friday, an ARCA race Friday, BGN race Saturday, happy hour, then the race on Sunday. Just tune in and watch. Welcome back to the dry Richmond International Raceway. The track is dry. Let's hope it stays that way for the Pontiac Excitement 400. The largest field to ever start a short track race here, 43 cars. Might be a good time for a first-time winner, but it's not easy for those guys to get to victory lane here at Richmond.
Short tracks, short tempers, long nights. The Winston Cup cars return to Richmond this weekend, the first of what will be just 6 short track races on the 97 schedule, following the loss of the 2 North Wilkesboro dates. Points here are precious and difficult to pick up. Jeff Gordon dominated the short tracks in 96, 4 wins and the most points with 8 finishes of 3rd or better. Terry Labonte was 2nd in short track points and Dale Jarrett was 3rd. Rusty Wallace was 5th in points, but 2nd in short track wins with 2. But when fans hunt for the thrill of sharing victory lane with a first-time winner, the short tracks are a popular target. Bobby Hamilton got his first win in Phoenix last fall, but during the spring and summer months, he was 4th in overall short track points, compared to Dale Earnhardt, who was 7th, and Ricky Rudd, who was 9th. For short track excitement, just review the September race at Richmond, a night under the lights that electrified the fans and even a few hungry teens. Both Jeff Burton and Johnny Benson threatened the checkered flag before a more experienced Ernie Irvin grabbed the win. Burton led 113 action-packed laps. Benson led down the stretch before Ernie slipped past with just 19 laps left. For both young drivers and 2 talented teams, the evening was a promising forecast for future battles on the demanding short tracks.
Great job, Jeff. Great job. 3rd, man. 3rd. We're hell of a race, man. Did a good job. Good job, guys. That's what it's all about, man. We keep doing that. We'll win our deal. We just got to keep doing it.
That was a good race. If the fans didn't enjoy that race, then something's wrong, because there was a lot of different leaders, a lot of side-by-side action, some just really good race, and that was fun.
Hey, it was great to, definitely get up there and lead a couple laps, but I just had them loosening up a little bit too much there at the end, and it got extremely loose, and I had my hands full after at the end, but like I say, Doug and all the guys did a great job.
This weekend, Burton and Benson begin the short track season with 40 or more very competitive friends, bringing with them fond memories from the past and the most valuable lesson you need for the future: experience.
That's why you see a lot of people run really well, like the 30 car. He's going to win the race. And I told my guys, I said, watch him, he ain't going to win the race. Nothing against him at all, because he's a good racer and that's a good team. But it's hard to beat that experience. But he gained a lot of experience tonight. I gained a lot of experience tonight. And the next time, we'll try to apply that. He and I both don't have a lot of Winston Cup experience, and the more we run up front, the quicker we'll get it, and we'll learn things the hard way, unfortunately.
A couple of guys looking for a win. Might be Michael Waltrip and Bobby Hamilton. Only guy to get his first Winston Cup victory ever at Richmond was Kyle Petty 11 years ago. One guy that got a win yesterday, wild finish in the Busch race, Mark Martin. He was also fastest in practice, and he's in a mess back there with Jerry Punch.
I just told Mark if the wind picks up, we ought to probably, if we win the toss, we ought to elect a kick and try to get the win in the second half. That's a different sport. I'm sorry, Mark. You start up front today, 5th overall. Momentum yesterday, great win.
It was really awesome. You know, we kind of looked into that one. We had a good car, but not good enough really to go out and take the thing. But, you know, it wound up in our lap anyway, and it's a good run for the Winn-Dixie bunch. And I was real happy with my car yesterday. The Valvoline Cummins bunch is, you know, really going to be on the money this year. We missed it a little bit at Rockingham, and, you know, we don't know what we have here for sure, but I sure feel good about it, regardless of what happens here today.
The most I've seen this young man smile probably in a year and a half yesterday when he climbed out of that Valvoline Ford after practice. He was the quickest in happy hour, and many believe he and his Roush teammates are going to be tough to handle today here at Richmond.
They were certainly tough to handle yesterday, Doc. Hey, don't forget, coming up, the Grand Prix of Australia on the Deuce, the first race of the 97 F1 season, qualifying Friday at 1:30 a.m., then the race Sunday at 9:45. Hey, yesterday we thought Jeff Burton was going to victory lane. Last year here we thought he was going to victory lane. You going to victory lane this afternoon?
I was here yesterday.
That's right, but you didn't come the way you had planned.
Oh, yeah. Well, does that matter? I was here, man. I swear I was here.
It didn't count.
Darn it.
Make up for it today.
We're going to try. We got a good race car. You got to be perfect to win these Winston Cup races, and if you're not going to win. So we got a good car. I don't know if we're good enough to win, but we got to be. On a day like this, whoever's going to adjust the quickest is the guy that's going to win the race.
You said yesterday you didn't learn a lot from that Busch car.
It was so good, we didn't make changes during the race, so it was hard to learn a lot.
Okay.
Got to go to driver intros.
Don't miss driver intros. Okay, that's Jeff Burton. He's going to driver intros. We're going to Ray Dunlap.
Well, thank you, Bill. Standing beside Jeff Burton's Exide Ford, and you guys need to keep your eye on car number 99 today. Let's crunch some numbers real quickly. Dale Earnhardt in the car number 3 has won here 5 times, and his average finish here at Richmond is 6.6. That's a great average finish for Earnhardt. The big question becomes, will there be a first-time winner? If you're looking for a number, right here it is, guys, number 99.
Couple of things to keep in mind today. Fuel is about 120 or so laps here, but tires won't last that long. We'll be looking for 80 lap pit stops. That's when drivers are going to want 4 new Goodyear tires. Coming up next on the Deuce, on the grid as we get ready for IndyCar racing from Florida. And next on ESPN1, it's the NASCAR Winston Cup season. It's the Pontiac Excitement 400 here from Richmond International Raceway. $1.4 million on the line. Jeff Gordon going for a history-making 3 in a row. Stay with us. You need picture-in-a-picture. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports, and racing's coming up next.
Early in 1996, one could see the consternation and frustration in their eyes. For teammates Jeff Gordon and Terry Labonte, the bubble burst early. Daytona began with a bang, then eventually a bust, courtesy of debris in the Kellogg's Kids carburetor. Just that quickly, Team Hendrick was forced to retreat with heads hung low. The following week it would get no better as the 5 in 2014 battled the Rock, and the Rock won. A blown engine and a mechanical failure marred them both deep into the early season point standings. 1 year later, Rick Hendrick's Chevy chauffeurs hit the ground running. This time, Daytona was different, as the trio of Gordon, Labonte, and Craven powered past the rest. Their trifecta sweep for the top 3 spots proved to be just the beginning. At the Rock, it was Gordon again, with Kid Craven and Texas Terry not far behind. The tally, 2 races, 2 wins. Yes, for Team Hendrick, the celebrations had just begun. A year ago, Richmond came to Team Hendrick's rescue. Yes, Terry Labonte sat on the pole, and Jeff Gordon picked up his first win of 10 on the season. In 1997, they don't need any help. They're back at the front row. But the newest member of Team Hendrick back there, Ricky Craven, well, he will need some help. Despite 2 top 5 finishes in the first 2 events of 1997, it all came to an end yesterday in a hurry. Happy hour, they call it. Out of turn 2, Craven's Budweiser Chevy overtly veers to the right side, tags the wall, and they go to a backup car. Now, the car lines up in 12th today, but he will go to the back of the field and start shotgun on the field. But you Craven fans, don't you worry. Remember, in Daytona, he came from 40th to 3rd. Today, it'll be a quest of 43rd to 1st.
Last year, Pontiac hoped to build excitement with Johnny Benson. Unfortunately, provided the wrong kind of excitement. Bobby Hamilton escaped Benson's flight, leading eventual winner Jeff Gordon for 129 to 400 laps. But Jack Roush brought 3 exciting drivers of his own. Mark Martin led the Roush racers early on. Then it was teammate Ted Musgrave's turn. He wound up 3rd, while the young gun of the team, Jeff Burton, sandwiched his way between Musgrave and Martin as the Roush cars rounded out the top 5. Yesterday, after starting 41st, Burton led 171 of 250 laps until his tires wore out.
He's going up the racetrack. He doesn't know time. He went in too high, and these two wrecked at the couple of start finish line. They'll finish 5th and 6th. Wow.
Martin winds up in victory lane while Burton gets hot under the collar. The excitement continues to build, and the Roush juggernaut looks ready to be launched. And this could be the car that leads the way for the Roush onslaught today here at Richmond in the Pontiac Excitement 400. Jeff Burton is currently 4th in the NASCAR Winston Cup point standings after finishing 11th at the Daytona 500 and then 3rd last week at Rockingham. Now, Jeff has told me that experience is the key to finding your way to victory lane. Well, last year he finished 4th in this race, 3rd in the night race in September. He thinks he has the experience now. He's looking for another strong run here at Richmond today. Jeff Burton rolling off the grid, 13th.
The start to the 97 season turned Dale Earnhardt upside down. Literally. Again, he was denied a well-deserved win at the Daytona 500. But in unforgettable fashion, Earnhardt resurrected his Chevy and finished 31st. 1 year ago at Richmond, Earnhardt with another bad break. No brakes. Again, he finished 31st. Now Dale Earnhardt is focused, not on revenge, but on a triumphant return beginning today at Richmond. 1 year ago, this was the get-well race for Jeff Gordon. After stumbling at Daytona and Rockingham, he went to victory lane here at Richmond International Raceway. And that's exactly what Dale Earnhardt would like to do today. He's won here 5 times. He hasn't won a race in 29 races, and he'd like to get back to victory lane here this afternoon. The Goodwrench Chevy starts 4th, and even though they lined up on points, that's a good qualifying effort for Earnhardt. Larry McReynolds is his new crew chief. You guys really wanted to come and test here. It was one of your goals when you went to Childress Racing.
Well, you know, we did spend a couple of days hard here back in January. Caught some good weather, which is hard to catch up here in January, and really worked hard on the long race runs. We worked on some qualifying stuff. Obviously, we didn't get to use that, but we'll take starting 4th here today. And, you know, car quite wasn't turning as good as we'd like to have it yesterday in practice. Went back, sat down last night, looked at all those notes from our test here, and made a few changes this morning, and hopefully it'll be the right way.
Well, we talked about Earnhardt being 31st at Daytona and 31st here 1 year ago. If he doesn't win today when we go to Atlanta, it'd be his 31st race where he hadn't won the week before.
ESPN, the worldwide leader in motorsports coverage, welcomes you live to Richmond International Raceway for the running of the Pontiac Excitement 400, the 3rd stop on the 1997 NASCAR Winston Cup Trail. And entering this event, the 3 Hendrick team drivers are at the top of the charts. Jeff Gordon has the points leader by 40 over Ricky Craven. Terry Labonte is 3rd, followed by Jeff Burton, Ricky Rudd, Mark Martin, Dale Jarrett, Jeremy Mayfield, Sterling Marlin, and Bill Elliott is 10th in the points as we get ready for racing here today. Hi, everyone. I'm Bob Jenkins, along with Benny Parsons and Ned Jarrett. And the question is, will the rain hold off? Now, it has rained virtually all weekend here. It delayed the start of the Busch race yesterday. Showers are predicted later this afternoon, but right now it looks very good. So how's that going to impact today's race, BP?
Bob, I don't know. I can't figure out where these teams are going to find that extra guy.
Extra guy?
Well, you know, they've got spotter down in turn 1, 43 spotters down in turn 1 to look at trouble around the racetrack. But now they've got to get a guy to go down to the NASCAR trailer and watch that radar screen all day to see when the rain's coming in so they can make that pit stop to stay out front or not make the pit stop to stay out front.
And not much practice for these Winston Cup cars over the weekend.
Not much at all, Bob. About 45 minutes. They had an hour scheduled yesterday after the Busch race, but it was cut short with the wreck of Ricky Craven. Now, those drivers that had their cars dialed in, that was okay. But there were some that would like to have had that extra 15 minutes to do a little bit more work on them. So it's going to be interesting.
Certainly did not affect the Busch race yesterday. Those drivers had no practice, but it was one of the best Busch races we've seen in a long time.
It really was. So sometimes you wonder how blown out of proportion that practice is, because we had a great race in the Busch, and they absolutely didn't get on the track until they went for the race.
And, Benny, it rained overnight, so we have a green racetrack today, so that also factors into this thing.
Yeah, we watched them drive the racetrack here at Richmond for 3 hours. We come to the racetrack this morning at 9 o'clock, and guess what? They're drying the racetrack once again. So we're going to see a race, I think, similar to that NASCAR Busch Grand National race we saw yesterday afternoon.
Well, of course, they will line up according to the points because they had no qualifying here, and it's the points from the car owners of 1996. And that means some drivers who perhaps would not have expected an up-front start, like Dale Earnhardt, who has not qualified well in the first 2 races of this year, will be starting from the outside of the second row. So a break for him, perhaps.
Well, perhaps so. Of course, maybe he would have sat on the pole. Who knows? But you're right. His qualifying efforts haven't been that good on some of these types of racetracks. Bob, I think one thing that we need to look for today are tires. That Goodyear has a great tire here, but they go away in a hurry if your car is not set up good. And we'll see a lot of changing around to try to get those cars set up to match the tires and the track condition.
Yesterday afternoon, we saw in the Busch Grand National race when a car would change tires, just how much faster it would be with those new tires.
Just about time for a national anthem.
Can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Wow.
And now for the most dramatic words in the world of professional sports, our Grand Marshal, Roy Roberts.
Gentlemen, start your engines.
On a cloudy, windy, and warm day in Henrico County, Virginia, we are set to go for 400 laps of racing in the Pontiac Excitement 400, the starting lineup for today's race when we return to Richmond. The field begins to roll away from the pit area here along the front stretch at Richmond, and here is the starting lineup determined by last year's car owner points. Terry Labonte is on the pole, and the pole sitter on the left of your screen. He has 2 wins here at Richmond. Jeff Gordon, last year's race winner. In the second row, Dale Jarrett, second last week, second last spring, and Dale Earnhardt still looking for his first top 10 finish of 1997. The third row, the 1990 Pontiac Excitement 400 winner Mark Martin and Ricky Rudd, 9th at Daytona. Rusty Wallace, who has 5 Richmond wins, will start in 7th position along with Sterling Marlin. In the 5th row, we'll have top 10 finisher Bobby Hamilton and Ernie Irvin, the winner here last fall. Bobby Labonte finished 11th in his best finish here at Richmond, and Ricky Craven who has the starting position, but will go to the back because he crashed during happy hour.
And back in row 7, Jeff Burton, everyone thinks, had the chance to win, and Michael Waltrip. Row 8, Jimmy Spencer. Also Ted Musgrave, another Roush car. In row 9, Bill Elliott, 10th in the points in 1997, and Jeff Bodine running well in 1997. Back in row 10, Morgan Shepherd driving the Pontiac this year, and Rick Mast in the Ford Thunderbird. In row 11, Steve Grissom, new ride for him, and John Andretti, the RCA car he started here last September. Row 12, Johnny Benson, who crashed yesterday afternoon, and Robbie Gordon.
And in row 13, we have Hutch Strickland and Lake Speed, no sponsor on the side of his Ford. Row 14, we find Brett Bodine and Ken Schrader. Row 15 is Kenny Wallace and Darrell Walton. Row 16, Ward Burton and Joe Nemechek. Row 17, Jeremy Mayfield and Dave Marcus. And row 18, Bobby Hillen and Mike Skinner, rookie. Row 19 is Kyle Petty and Derek Cope. And in the 20th row, Robert Presley and Dick Trickle. Row number 21, David Green, another of the rookie, and Chad Little. And in row number 22, the 43rd starter, Gary Bradbury.
And that is the first time in the 19 car for Gary. Now those late starters there were determined by the order in which they sit in their entry blank. There are the 3 drivers who missed the field. Off of corner number 4, green flag waves and the Pontiac Excitement 400 is underway.
Jeff Gordon long to get out front, and Earnhardt trying to do it the hard way on the outside.
Well, he saw Jeff Gordon shoot up there past Terry Labonte coming off of turn 2 the last time. So maybe that outside groove is the best groove right now.
Contact between the two. Now we're riding along with Mark Martin in the 4th place as he watches Earnhardt try to catch Terry Labonte.
Still a lot of side-by-side racing back there in the pack. Everybody tries to get sorted out.
Bobby Hamilton had such a great run here last year, and he's showing some pretty good muscle here in the early part of this one, battling for 8th position with Ricky Rudd.
He was pretty strong yesterday in practice, too, Bobby Hamilton was. Comes right up on Rusty Wallace.
There you see the top 10.
Look to the inside of Rusty as they go by the start-finish line, but no attempt to take over that position.
Well, Rusty saw him going down there, so he moved over to block that run by Bobby Hamilton. Hamilton once again tries it. And once again, Rusty Wallace chopped him off.
Ted Musgrave, Michael Waltrip, Jimmy Spencer, and Bobby Labonte are having a good race along with Bill Elliott.
And Rusty Wallace spins down in the corner.
In turn number 2, Wallace is down to the inside of the racetrack. I think another car made contact with him. Caution flag is out. And Rusty Wallace has a setback here in the early going. Does not lose a lap, but will have to fall into the rear of the field.
Tough right now. He will have to start 43rd. We were talking about Ricky Craven having to start 43rd. Now it's Rusty Wallace that's got to go back there.
Don't believe there's any damage to his race car. We saw it go by here. It didn't look like it was too much.
There is the car that had contact with him. That's not
the car that had contact with him.
Okay.
We see the damage back on the left rear quarter behind the left rear tire. Ricky Rudd is the fellow who made contact with Rusty Wallace.
And Rudd is making a pit stop.
Yes, it is. Here he comes in. We see the damage to the right front. You see, Hamilton goes by Rusty Wallace. Ricky Rudd tries to follow him through, and there's the contact.
So that'll mean Rudd will have to go to the back of the field, too, when he comes out of the pits.
And from a different angle, there you see that contact has already been made. Rusty is sideways.
Boy, I tell you, we're so fortunate. All these cars this early in the race and the battle for about 9th place have contact.
So 3 cars are on pit road, make that 4 cars.
Because Ricky Craven and Johnny Benson are in the pits also.
Ricky Craven is in. Here's John Kernan.
Craven is in for a 4-tire change. Remember, he started shotgun on the field, so hey, why not take a chance? He hadn't made up but maybe 2 positions. Now let's go down to Dr. Jerry Punch.
Ricky Rudd made a 2-tire change. Rusty Wallace pitting right behind him for 4 tires. Looks to be only cosmetic sheet metal damage. Left rear quarter panel. There's a dent in the left door. They have changed the 4 tires. Rusty is down and away.
They got to catch up to the field because the signal has been given. One more lap and we'll be back to green flag racing.
And it will be single file restart. We'll have 43 cars spread around this Richmond International Raceway. There we see the gap between last place and Rusty Wallace and Ricky Rudd.
Derek Cope, Dick Trickle also made pit stops. They're all catching up to the rear of the field for the restart, which is just about a half a lap away.
And surprisingly, Dave Marcus came in the Realtree Chevrolet, and also Gary Bradbury in the car number 19. They're going to have to hustle to catch up because the pace car is going into turn 3.
Bradbury's being held down there, so obviously a penalty is being assessed by NASCAR. Pace car is off the track. The sellout crowd on its feet, and the green waves once again.
Bradbury went a lap down.
Side-by-side battle. Michael Waltrip and Jimmy Spencer into turn 3.
After 10th place.
Well, they singled them out. Starting single file. Didn't take them long getting double file. Part of the deal.
Bobby Labonte's Blue Line onboard camera.
And Robbie Gordon is caught on the outside line and is losing positions. This is not Robbie's first race here at Richmond. He is a rookie on the series this year.
Still there.
Here in 91 for Junie Donlevy.
As a matter of fact, I was his spotter in 1991.
Is that right?
Yes, sir.
How'd you do?
Had some brake troubles. Robbie Gordon did that day, used the brake set. And again, that for rookies, that will be the problem here because this is probably the second toughest racetrack on the circuit for brakes. Really hard braking get down in the corner. There we see Morgan Shepherd. 1997 has been good to Shepherd so far, trying to get by Bobby Labonte.
That's for 14th position. Labonte has 14th. Morgan Shepherd is in 15th spot. And there right behind Morgan is Bill Elliott. It's a Radio Shack Field summary showing you where everybody is running in the moment, and the starting positions are in parentheses. Ted Musgrave has moved up well here in the early going from 16th to 8th.
Jeremy Mayfield on the outside, one of the fastest cars in practice yesterday afternoon.
Mayfield in the car number 37, in the blue and white car on the outside. Mike Skinner, the rookie, in the yellow and blue car, trying to follow him through up there on the outside.
Darrell Waltrip in 17, Brett Bodine in number 11, Gordon in 40, and 97 Chad Little in his first NASCAR Winston Cup race in 1997.
Had problems, didn't make the field at Daytona or at Rockingham last week.
Here is Sterling Marlin, Michael Waltrip, and Jeff Bodine. And that's 12th, 13th, and 14th.
Bobby Labonte in the green Interstate Battery Chevrolet coming up there working on Jeff Bodine's QVC Ford.
Good battles all the way around the racetrack. Waltrip gets inside of Sterling Marlin as Marlin got off the corner a little high. Let's see if Michael is able to take that spot away. Nope, not yet.
They're pretty good buddies, but when they get on the racetrack, just another driver. Try to beat him.
Meanwhile, up front, it is still Jeff Gordon leading his teammate Terry Labonte. Those two cars have pulled away a bit from the third place runner, Dale Earnhardt. Back with more from Richmond in just a moment. County Lee, Virginia. Welcome back to Richmond International Raceway, where the Pontiac Excitement 400 is 22 laps old. And every race that we televise this year here on ESPN will feature the Pennzoil Copter Cam from high above, giving us these overhead shots. There you see the first two cars. There they are, Gordon and Labonte. The third place car is now Mark Martin, and Dale Jarrett has moved up to fourth spot.
And here comes Ernie Irvin, looking on the inside of Earnhardt.
Ernie started 10th, now trying to take over 5th.
And he does take over that spot down in turn 1. Earnhardt lets him go.
So Dale ran third for so long, but has now dropped back to 6th position. Jerry Punch has a report on Dale Earnhardt.
A lot of these cars and drivers had to guess what was going to happen today. Yesterday, everyone was complaining of the cars being tight, but it is much warmer today than it was yesterday during happy hour. Thus, a number of cars, including Dale Earnhardt, complaining that the car is loose getting in the corner. He has to back out of the throttle, keep the back end of the car under him going into the corner, and that's why these cars should catch him pretty quickly.
And a battle now between Ted Musgrave and Bobby Hamilton. Jeff Burton went to the inside and passed Bobby Hamilton just a few seconds ago, and a lot of people in the garage area are talking about Jeff Burton.
Tell you one thing, if he gets this Excite Ford hooked up the way he had that NASCAR Busch Grand National car hooked up yesterday afternoon, he will be a threat this afternoon. He started 43rd yesterday, and took the lead in practically no time.
Yeah, it was a remarkable run.
And too bad that he really didn't win the race, since he dominated it so much. But as you saw yesterday when you watched it, quite a remarkable finish as Mark Martin went to victory lane.
Now, the next time the cars will go by the start-finish line, we will flash up the speed that they ran that last lap. And you see the 43 car getting a little bit loose. Let's Musgrave get up there. And you can tell by the speed that goes up there how your favorite driver is doing in comparison to the other drivers.
We'll do that next time by.
Bobby Hamilton was moving to the front, fellas, but the last few laps, he's been going backwards a little bit. Some cars that are working a little bit better than he now are moving past him.
Hey, here come the speeds now.
Never see the Mark Martin that time. And we see 112 miles per hour for the 43 car. You can see just how slow he was as compared to the field. And Ernie Irvin goes by. We saw Mark Martin that last time. His speed a little bit slower than some of the rest.
Yeah, Dale Jarrett and Ernie Irvin both passed him through turns 1 and 2.
So that puts Mark Martin back to 5th position.
As we watch these cars go by, a car that's been on the move is Ricky Rudd. Remember, he had to start almost last when he made that pit stop. And right now he's running in 26th spot.
It's coming up through there pretty good, too, in a short period of time. Of course, he put on 2 fresh tires.
Here's a NASCAR serial score presented by MCI on Ricky Rudd. Lap 10th, he was back in 34th position. And on lap number 29, moving up to 25th spot. So indeed, Ricky Rudd moving back up toward the front of the field after being involved in an incident early on with Rusty Wallace. Now behind Rudd.
Oh, it was a mess.
Great racing going on, also to be called a mess. That's Kyle Petty down to the inside of Jeremy Mayfield as we watch from Rusty Wallace's onboard camera.
Ooh, they're going to try to make it 3 wide there.
Nope. About a half a lap behind the leader, this battle going on.
And we see Mike Skinner come up through there. They realize they've got to get moving. That's the problem. You want to sit there and you want to feel things out, but Jeff Gordon is sitting such a pace that you got to go, because Gordon in just a little bit is going to be back there to lap you. And here goes Rusty on the outside.
Going to try it up high. He tried it down low. Didn't have a great deal of success, but up high he indeed does challenge Kyle Petty and takes the spot. Musgrave and Earnhardt now go at it for 7th position.
And Jeff Bodine, he has a QBC Ford running very, very well.
Bob Clinton, the great drag racer, has apparently retired from active competition and going to spend his time building engines for Jeff Bodine for NASCAR Winston Cup Racing.
Well, he should know something about building those Ford engines.
You better believe it.
And something about making horsepower with it.
Yeah.
There we see Musgrave finally makes that pass on Earnhardt. And there's Jeff Bodine from their helicopter.
Bodine may have a run here off the corner.
This is down the front stretch.
Earnhardt's car is getting pretty loose.
Yep. And Jeff takes another position away from Dale. Earnhardt now back to 9th. Bobby Hamilton, the car right behind him now.
See Jimmy Spencer back in the 11th spot there. Rusty Wallace still continues on his charge towards the front. That's
Your rhythm, run your race. We got to finish.
He's up to 26. And his spotter telling him to be patient, just like you've been preaching all along, Benny. This is the onboard camera with Hut Strickland. Since the restart, Rusty Wallace has made good progress. Here's another NASCAR serial presented by MCI on the driver of the Miller Lite Ford. From 40th position on lap number 10, 14 positions he has improved in 27 laps.
And we talk about Ricky Rudd, and we see Rudd now just in front of Rusty Wallace. So on the car of Joe Nemechek between the two.
There is Rudd running pretty much by himself now in 23rd spot. There is Schrader, car 33.
Schrader was involved to a small degree with the Ricky Craven situation there yesterday afternoon, having damage to the Stoll car on the left rear.
And there is the 9 car of Lake Speed. Ahead of him is Ward Burton and John Andretti in the 98.
That 9 car might be the only car on the racetrack without riding on it.
In front of John Andretti is Rick Mast in the 75 car. There he is, along with Morgan Shepherd. Delco Remy sponsorship on the Morgan Shepherd car, and Remington, of course, sponsoring the 75. And there's Michael Waltrip and Kenny Wallace. And Bill Elliott
takes over the 13th spot.
Yep, battle there.
Bill seems to have some renewed enthusiasm this year. Not that he hasn't had it all along, but he would admit that last year was not one of his better years, but he's been running better this year.
3-car battle, Jeff Burton.
Uh-oh, what's the matter with Burton? What's the matter with Jeff Burton?
Yeah, he's definitely off the pace from what he was earlier, because all of these cars passing him. There goes Bobby Labonte and the Interstate Battery Pontiac. I think I said Chevrolet earlier.
We're sending Bill Weber down to Jeff Burton's pit to find out what's wrong with him. But, Jerry, what's wrong with Dale Earnhardt?
Well, he continued to drop back and now finds himself back in 9th position, just trying to hang on, not to let the car number 23 or car number 18, Bobby Labonte, is coming in a hurry to get by. I talked a minute ago to Larry McReynolds, and Larry said we've tried to help Dale and say, Dale, if we can just be smooth and not spin the tires coming off the corner, the car will pick up a little bit. But the car is so very, very loose, he's having a hard time getting back in the throttle. You see Bobby Hamilton pulling by a couple of car lengths off the corner. The rear of the car has not hooked up. They planned some major adjustments. They're going to add bite. They're going to change the air pressure in the right front and right rear when they stop.
Bill Weber has a report now on Burton.
The problem for Jeff Burton appears to be no or very little brakes. Talked about it at the top, BP. Jeff Burton may be the first casualty, but he has reported to his crew he's having problems with his brakes.
Early for that, isn't it, Benny?
Man, this is early on to have brake problems. But again, you get charged up and you want to go to the front, and when you start using them, I'll take it easy the next lap, and pretty soon you've done that for 10 laps in a row, and they just will not take it.
Jeff Gordon continues to lead the Pontiac Excitement 400 with 46 laps completed. Just a couple of car lengths advantage on Terry Labonte. We'll be back with more live coverage from Richmond International Raceway and the Pontiac Excitement. Jeff Gordon continues to lead the Pontiac Excitement 400 here at Richmond. He's coming up on some heavy traffic, and that has allowed Terry Labonte to close in, now separated by just 2 or 3 car lengths. They have lapped David Green there in the 96 Caterpillar car.
And Bob Hillen is the next car, but Ned, it looks to me like Dale Jarrett is closing in on this front 2.
Yeah, he's got a 3-second lead that they had over him, Jeff Gordon had over him, down to less than a second now.
Let's take a look at the top 25 in terms of speed as they cross the line. You can see the first 2 cars in traffic are slower than Dale Jarrett, who is just coming up on David Green. Now we'll wait until we see the 10 car of Ricky Rudd, who we think is one of the fastest. Well, he is a little bit faster than those running around him.
But we see that Dale Jarrett is the fastest car in that entire group of cars.
Terry Labonte moving to the inside of Bobby Hillen, putting a lap on him. And yep, there is Dale Jarrett just within a couple of car lengths now of Terry Labonte.
Well, there's heavy traffic that these leaders have to deal with now.
They're coming up on a group of cars that includes Robbie Gordon, Gary Bradbury, Hut Strickland, and Derek Cope.
Ernie Irvin was right behind Dale Jarrett a few laps ago. He has lost a couple of car lengths to Dale Jarrett.
Here's another Radio Shack field summary for you. Dale Earnhardt started 4th, running 10th currently.
Now Robbie Gordon dives down on Gary Bradbury. Right now, you want to use those brakes. That's it. Try to take it easy on the brakes. When the leader's right behind you, all that goes out the window. You want to stay in front of the leader. Bradbury can't do it. Robbie Gordon is trying as hard as he can to do that.
Bradbury is 3 laps down for whatever that penalty was, and Jeff Burton coming into the pits. Certainly an early pit stop for Jeff Burton, and one of the favorites here, maybe in this race. Let's see, it looks like they're going to take him behind the wall, and apparently that brake problem, his crew has come out there to slow the car down so he can get it turned. He can't get stopped in his pit. Takes it on behind the wall, so a tough break for Jeff Burton.
Bill Weber has already reported to you that Jeff was experiencing brake problems, so they're going to take the car behind the wall and see if they can get the problem corrected.
Now there's Jarrett. There's nothing right now between he and Labonte in 2nd place. Jarrett in the red and blue car, number 88 Ford Credit car.
Wow, that car is coming on.
Last year in the races here, his car was better on the long runs, and it appears that's the way that it's working here today so far.
And we see Robbie Gordon. He is still, oh, here we go. Labonte slipped. I thought maybe Jarrett would be able to get by. Not quite. And Robbie Gordon got by the in-car. He is still staying in front of the leaders.
Dale Jarrett finished 2nd in this race last year. He's looking for 1 position better this year as Jeff Gordon tries to go to the inside of Hut Strickland. Dale Jarrett has taken over 2nd position from Labonte.
Hut Strickland running in the 37th position.
Clear.
Make that the 38th position, so now there are 37 cars on the lead lap.
Look at Dale.
Wow.
Still there on a quarter.
That's Hut Strickland's spotter telling him that Dale Jarrett is still beside of him.
Pennzoil copter fan with the overhead shots.
Certainly every one of these drivers want to get up there and lead at least a lap to get those 5 bonus points. And yes, they think about points this early in the season. They think about points from the get-go.
And the 2 drivers who have earned the most bonus points so far this year, the 1 driver, I should say, is Mark Martin, who has picked up 15 bonus points in the first 2 races of this year.
He led both races at Daytona and Rockingham and led the most races at Daytona.
Now, once again, Gordon pulls up behind the Coors Light Chevrolet of Robbie Gordon.
Well, looks like Ernie Irvin now is the fastest on that lap at 1:13.2.
I think right now that Jeff Gordon is probably holding up the 88 car of Dale Jarrett just a little bit.
He ain't gonna hold him up long.
Oh, here they go. Battle for the lead.
At the line, they become side by side into corner number 1. They are still wheel to wheel, and Dale Jarrett has the car of Robbie Gordon ahead, but he takes the lead. So Dale Jarrett assumes command of this race on the 66th lap.
And Robbie Gordon, boy, that's scary when both Chad Little and Robbie Gordon are getting sideways in front of you. You want to back out the gas, but you really can't because there's too many cars right on your bumper.
Meanwhile, Rudd has really come on strong here in the past few laps. He is currently up to 14th position.
And that's from the back of the field.
That looks like Jeff Burton in yesterday afternoon's NASCAR Busch Grand National race.
Yep.
Here he goes, trying to take another spot.
You see the damage to the right front of that car, but it is not affecting the performance or hindering it in any way at the moment. And he takes over 13th position from Sterling Marlin. He started 6th and had to go to the rear of the field.
The 6th car, Mark. Oh, I'm sorry. I thought he had a problem. He just moved over to let a car go by.
Robbie Gordon does have a problem. He's in the pits with, we understand, the flat tire on the Coors Chevrolet.
Well, he was running right ahead of Dale Jarrett for a while. Dale had just put him a lap down, and so Gordon decided to come in for the pit stop and the change of all 4 tires. Every seat is sold here at Richmond as the Pontiac Excitement 400 continues on lap number 69 with Dale Jarrett in command of the field. Dale Jarrett leads the Pontiac Excitement 400 here at Richmond with 75 of the 400 laps completed. Jarrett leading Jeff Gordon, Terry Labonte, Ernie Irvin, and the 16 car. And the man on the move, however, has moved into 11th position, and that is Ricky Rudd.
There he is, and there's a 10th place car directly in front of him, Bill Elliott. Oh, the real rest.
Robbie Gordon has new tires in the 40 car. He's passing Ricky Craven. It's John Andretti also there. Several cars made pit stops while we were away, including Hut Strickland.
42 car Joe Nemechek.
Yeah, and Chad Little.
Got Mike Skinner's Lowe's car hung up on the outside. Ooh, there's almost some contact there between the 97.
Rudd is stalking the 10th place driver of Bill Elliott, trying to get that number 10 at the bottom of our scoring pylon in 10th spot. And he may have it here. Rudd moves to 10th. Meanwhile, heavy traffic ahead for Dale Jarrett and those behind him. Boy, he's coming up on a whole group of cars.
Yes, he is. And all these cars wanting to stay in front of the leader. Right along the
still there on your quarter, bud.
Circuit City car on board with him.
There.
He's one of those cars that stopped just a moment ago.
He's 2 laps down in 41st position, Hut Strickland is. Jarrett now trying to get around the 90 car of Dick Trickle, who's in 34th.
Both Trickle and Hut Strickland have a little bit more racing going for them this afternoon. Both are driving for companies. Their sponsors are located in Richmond. Holly Myers is located here, and also Circuit City.
And look at the speeds. He's been slowed down by this traffic. The fastest there was Ted Musgrave in 5th position.
Jeff Ledine and Bobby Hamilton both turning good speeds, but this traffic here is really slowing down.
And also in the 113-mile-an-hour bracket is the 10th place car of Ricky Rudd.
There's a red and blue car of Gary Cope, a new car in 1997.
Even slower on that lap, down to 110.8. Now look at Ted Musgrave as he puts some heat on Ernie Irvin.
He's moving right up on him. Ted Musgrave runs this racetrack well. He's won a couple of poles here and just always runs well. Well, where to go?
I was going to say that's what you call boxed in. Yeah. Look at how his speed has decreased. While Hamilton, for instance, who is in pretty clean traffic, is about 4 miles an hour faster. Jerry has more on Gordon. Bill, I'm sorry.
Well, Jeff Gordon is battling a handling problem. Ray Evernham told him, take it easy on that right rear tire. We'll help you out a little bit. Jeff said his car is tight in the middle of the turns, and he's loose off of turn 4. Ray told him to take it easy, save those tires. Adjustment when you get in here, then get back out better than you were.
Well, 83 laps have been completed. When might we look for that first pit stop?
It won't be too long. And you see Musgrave has closed up on the back bumper of those guys. And now Jeff Bodine passes Musgrave to take that spot away.
And here is Bobby Hamilton also passing Ernie Irvin. You see back there on the right of your screen. These guys getting boxed up behind all of that traffic and trying to jockey around to find a place to go.
Yep, there is Hamilton moving into the 6th position.
Bobby Hamilton has done a great job. We saw his car 30, 40 laps ago. Not as good as some of these cars. He sat there, took his time, and is back up in the mix now.
Jerry, when are the leaders saying they're going to come in?
Well, this morning in the garage, some of the crew chiefs said, you know, we're not really sure what we're going to have today, but we're not sure when the tires will go away. We know we can run about 110 to 115 laps on fuel, but the tires may not make it but about 90 laps. We may have to pit around lap 90. Well, now, the survey that I've done, everyone's very pleased with the Goodyear tire that they ran here last September, which is the same tire they had today. So many of them may try to stretch it past the 100-lap mark, maybe even closer to 110.
Well, we've completed 86 laps right now, so we'll watch for that in the next few laps. You saw a while ago Rusty Wallace, who was matching the performance of Ricky Rudd, as Rusty Wallace has now moved into 11th position. Rudd runs 10th. But up front, it is Dale Jarrett, who's in command of the Pontiac Excitement 400. Over, it still leads. When we went to break, Jeff Gordon was in second. Now Jeff Bodine is in second, and Ted Musgrave is in third, dropping Jeff Gordon back to 4th spot. And Jeff Bodine has really come on in the last few laps.
And his car is really working now, getting off the corners good. He got through that traffic good, and he's bearing down on Jarrett now.
Here you see back on lap 10, he was in 14th position, and now is second, as 92 laps have been completed. And there is Bobby Hamilton, running right alongside Jeff Gordon and passing him. And there in the 71 car is Dave Marcus, who yesterday celebrated his 56th birthday. Happy birthday, Dave Marcus. And boy, what's that bright thing that we're seeing?
I'm psyched. I'm about to go blind.
Oh my goodness.
First time I've seen the sun in 3 days, I believe.
Actually, shadows being cast by the race cars. Calling for showers late this afternoon, but it looks like the entire 400 laps can be gotten in. The 44 car of Kyle Petty makes a pit stop. The Hot Wheels Pontiac gets new right side rubber. Now the crew goes around and jacks up the left side.
Now they'll be calling the 43 car. These cars, both Petty Enterprises cars, are telling them how the tires look, how worn they are, because that's information that Dale Inman and Robbie Lewis needs for Bobby Hamilton.
Ernie Irvin and Terry Labonte as they battle for the 5th position.
Sixth,
okay.
Right now Jeff Gordon is the car in 5th spot.
And Wallace and Rudd are right together on the racetrack as they were. Now both of these cars had to go to the rear after a spin by Rusty Wallace early on, but they moved up into the top 10, both of them.
And we talked about how well Ricky Rudd was running, and now Rusty's caught him, and Rusty Wallace only changed 2 tires on that pit stop. So, hey, could have something for him today.
I thought Rudd changed 2 tires and Rusty changed 4.
Oh, I guess that's right. Yeah. I guess that's right.
That might be showing up right now.
Exactly.
On Rudd's car.
And look at Jeff Bodine close in on the leader, Dale Jarrett. As Jarrett puts a lap on Derek Cope in car number 36. Cope running 29. Here's the Pennzoil copter cam showing us the field go by.
Kenny Schrader comes into the pits.
There's the separation between Gordon and Ernie Irvan.
Ted Musgrave also coming into the pits, one of the top 5 cars. He's the first of them to come in. Now that might sort of be the signal. Dale Earnhardt is coming in as well. And once you see some of the top cars coming in, well, when they go back out there, they're going to be running a second a lap faster, so the others can't afford to let them be out there too long on those tires.
Bill Weber.
Ted Musgrave on pit road. 4 tires expecting here and plenty of fuel as usual. Work laps 100. Earnhardt also on pit road. The 16 bunch swings around to the left side. Top it off with fuel. They'll send Ted back out onto the track to the 3-pit and Dr. Bunch.
Already had advised the left rear they're going to change tires, all 4 tires. They made an air pressure adjustment in the right front. They went up on the air pressure down in the right rear, and they've added bite to the car. They're getting through now. Left side tires on the 5-time former Richmond winner. Lug nuts are on, and they have problems with the left front. They are now down and away.
Jimmy Spencer and Rick Mast are also pitting. Jeremy Mayfield. Here's Jeff Gordon making a pit stop. Mark Martin also in, as well as Kenny Wallace. So a lot of pit stops are being made here.
Morgan Shepherd coming in.
Brett Bodine. We're with Mark Martin as his roof cam.
And he's really been struggling the past few laps around this racetrack.
We're watching Jeff Gordon's crew doing the work on the DuPont Chevy.
Trouble on the left rear.
Finally got it on, and Jeff rolls away. Mark Martin, now they've gone to the left side of the car as the fuel is topped off.
Here, Labonte just went by as he makes it, but then he kills the engine. Unfortunately, it cranks back up again, and we see Labonte. There's Bill Elliott making his stop.
Ricky Rudd has come in for a stop. Sterling Marlin is in, and so is the 25 car, John Curtis.
Right side's already on, left side's going on. They'll make a chassis adjustment, and Ricky gunning the engine. They're waiting for the chassis adjustment. A little bit tight. Let's go down to Bill Weber.
And the crew on the wall waiting for Dale Jarrett. The 88 car is in. Jeff Bodine swings right by in front of him. He also swings into his stall. Right side tires in a drain for Dale Jarrett. Then they'll come around and to the left side. Steve Allen handling the gas. Bodine also getting his right side tires. And getting gas. The 28 car now on pit road. Right side for Ernie. The left sides are on. They're tightening the lug nuts. As Dale Jarrett way. The 7 is down. 17-7 for Jarrett. They go around to the left side on the 28 car, and they'll try and get Ernie Irvan back out. Quick pit stops down here. Bobby Hamilton returns to the track. Ernie's still waiting on his left side tires. The 30 on its way. The 18 car all comes to a stop. Now they go around to the right side on Bobby LaPonte's Pontiac. Right side tires and fuel as we work lap 105 here at Richmond. Bobby will also get 4 tires. Come around to the left side, waiting for the jack. Up goes the car, off come the tires. The fuel is in. Working full pit stops here at Richmond. Now they wait on the tires again. Left rear car down. Bobby LaPonte spins the tires, returns to the race. Back on top.
Wow. Wow. What a flurry of activity. How about that less than 18-second pit stop for Dale Jarrett?
Well, Jeff Bodine had a similar pit stop, too, because he went right out behind. So they had their timing, the pits was exactly the same. You see where they are on the racetrack? That's how far apart they were when you came in.
Outstanding work by some teams down on pit road, keeping their drivers in contention. So Dale Jarrett continues to lead. By the way, Jarrett was 3rd in short track points earned in 1996. 4 top 5s in 8 races. And there is Ricky Rudd as he comes up into 11th position now to make that 10th spot. A lot of racing out there on the track. We're going to take a break and be back for more in just a moment. We're in PN Speed World coverage at Richmond International Raceway today for the Pontiac Excitement 400. You're watching from the Pennzoil Copter Cam. And did you know, guys, that Pennzoil lubricated the airplane that flew history's first airmail shipment from Salt Lake City to Los Angeles?
I didn't know that.
How about that?
Did not know that. Well, that's good.
Just keep listening and watching this year, and I'll tell you all kinds of interesting things. Dale Jarrett up on John Andretti now, as Andretti runs in 30th position and is now a lap down.
Still struggling to wade his way through the traffic.
Before his pit stop, Dale Jarrett was running 112 miles an hour. Since he got those fresh tires on, 116.1.
It might even be faster if he were not in traffic.
Yep.
But that just goes to show you how much of a difference there is in new tires and tires that have been run for a while.
Michael Waltrip had trouble during his pit stop, some lug nut problems, and that has put him back to 29th position. He will be the next car to go a lap down. And let's give a call to Rusty Wallace. As you see there in the Radio Shack field summary, he's running 6th. His crew did a great job of getting him in and out of the pits.
And here's a battle for the lead. Goes down, takes a look. Jarrett barely was able to shut him down.
And just a lap ago, Bobby Hamilton moved around Jeff Gordon, took over the 3rd position.
Well, Joe Nemechek goes a lap down in 29th position. Jarrett's got Michael Waltrip beside him and in front of him, and then in front of Waltrip there are 2 cars battling for position, Schrader and Robbie Gordon.
That's some awfully good race cars there that they're coming up to lap, and they're tough to lap.
And we saw Robbie Gordon in front of the leader a long, long time ago, folks. He still hasn't been lapped.
He made that early pit stop, got those new tires on, and gained a lot of position. Here comes the change for the lead, Bob.
Whoa! Look at Bodine to the inside, and Jeff Bodine goes to the front.
But to finish the point on Robbie Gordon, he came in earlier than the rest, got those new tires on, so he was out there running faster than the leaders for a good while. And then when they came in, he had gained back a good bit of that position on the racetrack, but now he's lost that.
Right behind Robbie Gordon is Kenny Wallace, the square D. In-car camera, that's Jarrett up ahead.
Kenny is running in 31st position, 1 lap down.
Battle for 5th spot between Terry Labonte, the Kellogg Chevrolet, and Rusty Wallace's Miller Lite Ford. As they go by the John Deere Pontiac of Chad Little.
How about Rudd and Irvin? They're battling for the 8th position. Irvin on the inside gets it from Ricky. And Wallace gets by Labonte. Boy, there's racing everywhere, and we're trying our best to keep up with it. I think we're doing a pretty good job.
But there is a lot of good racing going on.
Rusty Wallace from 40th to 5th. And Bill Weber has a report on Gordon.
Okay, well, Benny and Ned, let's take a look at Jeff Gordon's right front tire. And here it is. This is the inside of the tire. You can look up here. You can see the depth where they can measure the tire wear. But if you get down here, the one car just lost its hood out on the track, and you can see he was getting uneven wear here, perhaps contributing to his push problem. Let's go back up top real quick.
Look at this. Kyle Petty told us, was it in Daytona, that every race driver experiences this once in his life. Wow. And I'm sure this is one of many times that Morgan Shepherd is experiencing. How in the world does he see?
He's still going. And why is he still going? They're giving him black flag. Well, he can't see that.
I guess he's just guided by the stripes on the racetrack. Is that it?
I suppose. I guess he hopes that NASCAR will throw a caution flag for some reason, but you know, he's really got problems because that hood is just not going to fit.
Man, oh man. Meanwhile, the 31 car showing some damage there on the rear end.
I think that's what happened to Morgan Shepherd, that he ran up on him and hit him, and it knocked the hood pins loose on Morgan Shepherd's car and caused him to come up. Now he is coming into the pits.
Finally, Shepherd comes in.
And we see the damage to the front of the nose of the Pontiac where he ran in the back of the 31.
And he hits the spot exactly. Now watch this.
He had hit the 31 car in the back, and I guess it shears some of the hood pins, and zap, it goes up. Bill Weber?
Well, Morgan found his way down pit road. He does have that front-end damage we were talking about. NASCAR has now come over to talk to this crew. They've got the hood down. Obviously, it's not going to fit very well. Morgan sitting here in the car. The crew scrambling to get some fuel so they can bang this hood back into position. Or, in fact, now it looks like they're just going to go ahead and remove it and perhaps get another one or send Morgan out there with that modified look to finish this race. And that'll be a long afternoon with just 127 laps left. So Morgan Shepherd sits off pit road, and he's going to have a very long day here at Richmond.
Bill, I think he just sheared the pins off that holds that hood, so they got nothing to fasten it to, even if they get that wrinkled hood back down there. So I guess the only alternative they have is to take it off.
So it's a shame they didn't change tires while they were in there. Now they're going to decide to do that.
Yep. So Morgan Shepherd will be hoodless the rest of the afternoon.
All that started coming off turn 2 when Skinner ran in the back of Morgan Shepherd. So we go down to turn 3, Morgan hits him, and boom, shoots the hood.
Jeff Bodine is leading his first race since Phoenix last year. He's in command right now on the Pontiac Excitement 400 with Dale. Continues to lead the Pontiac Excitement 400 by just a couple of car lengths over Dale Jarrett, who is lapping the 77 car of Bobby Hillen.
But there's one car that's coming out on Bob, and that is Rusty Wallace. He is really on the move. We'll see him. There he is at the top of the screen, a white hood on that blue and white Ford number 2. Rusty Wallace is coming in a hurry.
He has moved to 3rd position. Bobby Hamilton is 4th, and Jeff Gordon is running in 5th spot. Wow. Now there is Morgan Shepherd, who's running hoodless. And we'll show you how this all started with Mike Skinner.
Yeah, there we see Skinner going down the corner. This is going in turn 3. And there, Morgan, bam, runs in the back of the 31 car. And that's where they touched. That sheared the hood pins off, and as he come off the corner, black, the hood just flew up over the windshield.
Here it is. Wow. And suddenly Morgan Shepherd was driving sightless.
Had a change of the lead.
Dale Jarrett has gone back in control of the race as he passes Jeff Bodine.
Here's what happened just a couple of laps ago while we were showing the Morgan Shepherd thing. Coming off turn 4, and Bodine gets her a little bit loose. Gave Dale Jarrett an opportunity, took advantage of it, dove to the inside, took the spot away.
Well, next week, we will move our cameras to Atlanta, Georgia, and everything begins on Friday at 12:30 Eastern Time on ESPN2 with live Winston Cup qualifying. Then the Easy Care 200 ARCA race is at 2 o'clock on the Deuce. Saturday, the Busch Grand National Race Steel 300 at 1 o'clock on the Deuce. Happy hour at 3:30 Saturday afternoon. And then on Sunday, NASCAR Today is at 12:30 Eastern Time on ESPN2. And our coverage of the Prime Star 500 is on our sister network, ABC. And that will be at 1 o'clock Eastern Time. So join us for that next week at Atlanta Motor Speedway, the last time that the cars will compete on the track in its current configuration.
There's the lead of the race. Once again, number 88, Ford Credit. And Rusty Wallace still continues to get closer and closer. And I tell you what, if Dale Jarrett had a 17.7-second pit stop, how fast was Rusty Wallace's pit stop, do you think?
Had to be a great pit stop.
Jerry, did they make some changes to Rusty's car after happy hour?
Yes, they did, Bob. And by the way, I'll answer Benny's question first. That pit stop on Rusty was 19.3, but he got here and he left in a hurry. You can make of that what you will. Now, last night after happy hour, they made a major change on the Penske South Miller Lite Ford. The crew said, we think there's something wrong with the rear end gear. They smelled something in the gear. The gear looked to be okay, but rather than take a chance, they took the entire gear assembly out. They changed the rear end pump, the grease, everything between last night and this morning to get the car ready. Said, we don't want to leave any stone unturned. Let's go ahead and change it all, although the gear looked good, and maybe it'll pay off today. And indeed, thus far, it is.
Yes, indeed. Rusty running third, and here is 5th, 6th, and 7th. Labonte, Gordon, and Bill Elliott, who is running very well here in the early going.
Labonte goes by Jeff Gordon. Here comes Bill Elliott, and you're right. This is the best we've seen Elliott run on a short track in a couple of years.
Look at Rusty's speed. Wow. 14.3. Almost a mile an hour faster than those running around him.
The 18 car, the Pontiac of Bobby Labonte. Look at him, 113.8. He's the second fastest car on the top 10.
We just happen to have an onboard camera with him.
close he gets to the wall here on the front stretch.
Rusty continues to be clearly the fastest car on the racetrack at the moment. Dale Jarrett in a bit of traffic. David Green ahead of him. Ward Burton goes down a lap. He's running 24th. There are 23 cars on the lead lap. There is Rusty. And just a car separates him from second position, held by Jeff Bodine. And now no cars separate the two as pit stops perhaps will be coming up before too long again. We'll take another break and be back with more of our live coverage from Richmond International. For second position, Rusty Wallace takes it away from Jeff Bodine, and now he sets his sights on the leader, Dale Jarrett. Rusty has an incredible record here at Richmond. Since they converted this facility to a 3/4 mile track in 1988, he has 15 top 10 finishes out of the 17 races that have been on the 3/4 mile and 5 wins.
He knows how to get around this 3/4 mile racetrack.
Joe Nemechek is in. John Kernan is right there.
You'll recall the first round of green flag pit stops. Joe Nemechek was one of the first cars in. He is back on pit road now. The right sides have already been changed. Left side's coming off, going on. The fuel going in the car. No chassis adjustment at all. But Joe's sitting on pit road waiting for the left extra tight. One of them falls off the left front, so that's going to slow him down a couple of seconds. But he's finally down and away.
Nemechek in the Bell South Chevy goes back out on the racetrack, keeping the car in the speed limit while he goes down pit road. And now he accelerates. Well, here's Jeff Gordon and Ernie Irvan now in a battle for the 7th spot. Jeff Gordon was the early leader of this race. We have had 4 leaders and 6 lead changes. Still trying to get to the inside of Jeff Gordon as they come up on some slower traffic.
As we watch this, we've also got a battle down in the corner. We've got battles everywhere. That's the one I was talking about.
Boy, look at Rusty. You remember he spun in the early going, went to the back of the field, and look at this. He is about to lead this lap. Lap number 160 is led by Rusty Wallace. How about that? And the battle continues between Irvan and Jeff Gordon, and Irvan has that spot.
Well, it's nice of them to stay there and run side by side until we can get back to them after some of that has completed.
Bob Jenkins mentioned just a moment ago that at the very beginning of the race, just a few laps into the race, Rusty Wallace down in turn 2. Here's a replay. As Bobby Hamilton goes under him, Ricky Rudd tries to follow him. There's contact between the two, and around goes Rusty Wallace. He then goes in the pits, changes 4 tires, and starts at the rear of the field, and now has taken the lead.
Impressive performance by Rusty Wallace.
It really is.
See Jeff Bodine still back there.
Since September of 1988, when the track was converted to a 3/4 mile racetrack, Rusty Wallace is the leader among those who have been up front with 1,804 laps in the lead. Dale Earnhardt second on that list. The late Davey Allison third, followed by Ernie Irvan and Bill Elliott. So Rusty is counting more laps in that total this afternoon.
Right now, they're in some traffic, which is allowing Dale Jarrett to stay right on that back bumper of the Miller Lite Ford.
Rusty Wallace in the Miller Lite Ford has the lead in the Pontiac Excitement 400 back at NASCAR.com, NASCAR online. So Rusty Wallace continues to lead here. He has led 9 laps now. And about 3 cars ahead of Rusty Wallace is the black number 3.
Dale Earnhardt still continues to struggle here in 1997. Right now, he's running an 18th spot. He and Ricky Craven are battling.
Jerry has more on Dale Earnhardt's situation.
They can just not get Earnhardt's car to tighten up. Larry McReynolds made a major air pressure adjustment and added some bite in the car on the first stop. Didn't do much good, so this time they're going to come in. They may even short pit. If he gets lapped, they may come in around lap 180, and they're going to add more bite to the car, change the air pressure, and then drop the track bar to try to tighten the car just loose getting in and loose coming off.
I never see Robbie Gordon with those fresh tires. Their battle leader.
Gordon pitted early on the first round of green flag pit stop, so he has new tires on that number 40 now. He had been 3 laps behind. Now he's only 2 laps behind, back there in the 35th position.
And we see Derek Cope on pit road as he comes down to make his pit stop.
Rusty is closing in on the driver in 21st position, Darrell Waltrip. There is Derek Cope in for the stop. Right side tires being changed on the Skittles Pontiac. And Rusty trying an outside pass on Darrell Waltrip as Lake Speed is also up ahead.
And Darrell Waltrip's trying to pass Lake Speed while all this is going on. Rusty's trying to figure out which one's his best.
Has now gone into the
9th position.
Dropping Jeff Gordon back to 10.
So Jeff Gordon right now struggling in the DuPont Chevy, trying to find the handle for the Richmond International Raceway.
Bright sunshine now, Benny, on the racetrack. That's going to change the way these cars handle, mightn't it?
It just might. That might be the problem with Jeff Gordon and some of these other cars, and Rusty Wallace. All of a sudden, his car is just unbeatable. So maybe his car likes this kind of weather.
I'd say that's the case. Jeff Gordon now about 13.5 seconds behind the leader.
Here's a Radio Shack field summary. Jeff Bodine started 18th, is running in 3rd spot. Bill Elliott from 17th to 6th. There is Elliott in the McDonald's Ford.
Mark Martin, another car that's struggling, back in 14th spot. And there we see Earnhardt now back in 19th.
And Rusty Wallace right on his bumper to put him a lap down.
They're the drivers that are at least 1 lap down.
There we go. That's what you're talking about, Ned.
Yep.
Earnhardt moves to the inside, gives him some running room out there.
Dale Earnhardt's quest for an 8th championship is not off to a good start. We've only completed 2 races so far in 1997. In the 3rd one here today, so let's not give up on Dale Earnhardt completely. Another car that's struggling at the moment is Ted Musgrave, who was up in the top 10 for a while, but has fallen back recently. Bill Weber, what's the problem?
Well, Bob, his car is exceptionally tight, especially off turn 4. Now, they're going to make a track bar adjustment when Ted pits. That's not scheduled for about 22 laps or so. They're not sure they're going to be able to wait that long.
He's back in 22nd position at the moment, 1 lap down, Ted Musgrave. Jack Roush's team, Mark Martin, today 15th, last year 5th. Musgrave 22nd today, last year was 3rd. And Jeff Burton last today, and last year finished in 4th spot.
And Jeff Burton, folks, is still on the racetrack. He is actually 43rd in the running order. He's 12 laps down. I'm sorry.
I think that's 120-something.
120-some laps down, yes.
His car is still behind the wall.
Oh, I see.
Yeah,
he is.
Saw our scoring monitor, and I thought it was 12 laps. My apologies.
And there is the other teammate, Mark Martin, currently running in 15th spot. Dick Trickle has just made a pit stop in the Heilig Myers Ford, is going back out on the racetrack.
Jimmy Spencer just went a lap down. Jimmy's running 18th. Ricky Craven will be the next car victim of Rusty Wallace. If he gets up to him, which he isn't too far behind, Ricky is running in 17th position.
Only 1 caution so far as we approach the halfway point, and the average speed of the race is a new track record at the moment. There is Dale Jarrett. He has been one of the 5 leaders today. He's currently running second.
And to mention that Jimmy Spencer had gone a lap down, so he decided to come in pits. Get some fresh tires on that Camel Ford number 23.
Here's the 3rd place car of Jeff Bodine, the QBC Ford. Jeff 25th in the short track points last year. His best finish was 10th at Martinsville last September.
There's the next car, the 43 car, Bobby Hamilton, the S2P Pontiac.
Got a full straightaway behind Jeff Bodine.
Now the next car in the running order is the 5 car. He is 5th. That's Terry Labonte. And there we see Bill Elliott and Ernie Irvin. All those cars driving for 5th, 6th, and 7th.
Watch them pull away from Ted Musgrave, who is slowing down to make a pit stop. Ted Musgrave is on pit road, relinquishing the 24th position. This is the report that Bill was talking about a few minutes ago, and Bill, he's headed in your direction.
And Ted is on pit road, just past the start-finish line. He pulls the Family Channel Prime Star Ford to a stop. They go around to the right side. They put in the wedge tool so they can make an adjustment on the track bar. Should be 2 rounds. That's exactly what it is. They call for the wedge wrench inside. Come around to the left side. They'll change the left side tires. Second can of Unisal gasoline is in. Waiting on the tires. Waiting on the left front. That's down. Goes back out. 18.4 seconds. And he will be very fast on those new Goodyears.
And Bill Elliott is about to take 5th spot away from Terry Labonte.
Labonte's not going to fight him. There's Ernie Irvin coming up also. And the Texaco Haviland Ford, number 28. See if he can get a nose alongside Terry.
Here are some cars that have gone a lap down, Ricky Craven included, and Mark Martin. Yeah.
He was one of the favorites of this race. In this race, he's a favorite in any race, really, and especially on this type of a racetrack. Mark Carr just not hooked up today.
Winner of the Busch Grand National race held here yesterday, coming into the lead in the 4th corner of the last lap.
So now there are 15 cars on the lead lap.
And 187 laps have been completed.
And once again, Mark Martin, another car, when he was lapped by the leaders, he decided to come down pit road and put on 4 fresh tires. There he is.
Let's go down to Jerry Punch.
Take a look at the scoreboard here at Richmond. It says lap 198, which would mean we're 2 laps away from the halfway point. A lot of the crew members started to panic and said, hey, we're going to pit on lap 200. But in reality, the scoreboard added 10 laps a moment ago. It is lap 189 instead of 199. So these guys are still about 10 or 11 laps away from their pit stop.
I tell you what's going on, Jerry. Your bulbs are burned out on that side of the scoring pylon because the one that's facing us shows 189. So it may be causing confusion, however, if the teams are looking up there toward that direction, but it reads correctly on the other side. How about that? So that could be a factor.
Most of these teams have scoring monitors in their pit area. The NASCAR scoring monitors, the same as we have here, so they can see on the monitor how many laps are completed.
In the last, well, Jeff Gordon has hit the wall.
Well, maybe slightly, but his pit road wall maybe when he came into the pit.
Yeah, there is some damage on the right side there. Jeff comes to a stop in his pit, and the Bill Weber is right there.
This is a little earlier than they had planned on stopping. They make a round of wedge adjustment on the right side. They've already got the tires on the right side. There's no damage on the left side of the front of the car. They cleaned off the grill. Now they're putting fuel in, changing the left side tires, waiting, and he's away. He's got damage on your side.
Hey, right there. That right rear, folks, that might be a problem when he goes in the corner. I think when the car goes in the corner, it's going to hit and it's going to rub.
It could very well do because the body leans over when he goes into the corner to the shifting of that weight.
And that's what he hit at the entrance to pit road. How about that? So, a turn of events here for the guy who is trying to go for the record today. No driver has ever won 3 races to begin the season. Benny?
Oh, watch this. Watch Jeff Gordon. Here he is when he's coming down pit road, and boom, runs into those barrels as he enters pit road.
Huh. How about that?
Earnhardt's in the pits, so is Ricky Craven. Brent Bodine comes in. Kenny Wallace is in the pits.
Here's Jerry Punch.
Well, they made that track car adjustment trying to tighten Earnhardt's car up. They've already changed the right side tires, and they move around and change the left side tires. They have further made an air pressure adjustment on the Goodwin Chevrolet to kind of tighten the car up. He is down and away.
Dale Earnhardt goes back out there. Here comes Steve Grissom in for a pit stop. Brett Bodine is still on pit road, and the car is smoking, Benny. That tire is definitely rubbing on the right side. Good call, VP.
Yes, sir. It really was. Good observation.
I mean, these guys are going to be watching their telecast. They realize it is smoking. I don't think they're going to leave him out there long because it will cut that tire quickly.
Yeah, he'll be into a bigger wall.
So Jeff Gordon drops back to 24th position here. And the car definitely, the tire rubbing on the right rear of the car. Here is Rusty Wallace continuing to lead.
He wants to lead to the halfway mark, Bob, to try to get that $10,000 if he's eligible on bid rate.
And we're 3 laps away from that mark right now, 197 laps to be completed. He's got a rather substantial lead now on Dale Jarrett. There's the interval between the two.
But Jarrett's hanging in there.
Yep.
It looked like when Rusty Wallace passed him, he was going to just drive away. But either Rusty slowed down just a little bit or Jarrett has picked up the pace because you can see, folks, he's still right there.
Rusty's lap speeds have fallen off just a little bit, Benny. I think that, and Jarrett's haven't fallen off quite as much.
Every race that we televise this year will feature the Pennzoil Copter Can. Every NASCAR Winston Cup race.
And we see Michael Waltrip moving around Jarrett there. He just came in the pits, had fresh tires.
Terry Labonte is on pit road. Also, Kyle Petty and Mike Skinner make pit stops as Terry is headed toward Jerry Punch.
Defending Winston Cup champion will be down for his scheduled pit stop. They plan on making no major adjustments to the car. A slight air pressure change. Labonte said the car has been very, very consistent. Just a little bit loose coming off the corner. Right side tires going on. Great pit stop thus far. Left side of the Kellogg Chevrolet Monte Carlo. Left front, left rear. They get it full of fuel. Now they try to keep the tire from rolling away. Lug nuts are on, and he is down and away in 19.2 seconds.
And he comes out just behind his teammate Jeff Gordon. Ernie Irvin makes a pit stop. Jeremy Mayfield is pulling out, and they almost collide, but everything is okay. The 4-car Sterling Marlin also enters pit road. Bobby Labonte there also.
Sterling Marlin was running in the 9th position. We haven't said much about him today, but he's just been steadily out there, keep going, although he was almost a lap down.
Here's Jerry Punch.
And they clean the windshield, the whole windshield full of dirt and debris. They need some oil on the windshield of Sterling Marlin's car. And the car number 4 gets serviced. The car number 2, our leader, will be pitting right in front of Sterling Marlin. Watch for Marlin to try to leave while Rusty Wallace tries to pull into his pit. It could be very close. Left side lug nuts are on the Kodak Chevrolet. He is down and away and just gets out, but there's a tire on pit road, and now Rusty able to get into his pit. The lead car, Miller Lite Ford, clean the windshield, right side and left side tires. Robin Pemberton said we will make no adjustment on the car. No air pressure, no wedge. We are very, very happy with the way the car is running. Left front and left rear are both off. The car number 2, lug nuts going on, and they drop the jack. 19.3 seconds of great pit stop. Let's go to Bill Weber.
Dale Jarrett is in. They do make a track bar adjustment, putting on right side tires. Now they come around to the left side. DJ gets a drink. Rain-X on the windshield. Extra man over the wall. Allowed by NASCAR for that. Now they're going to tighten the lugs. Left front done. Left rear. TJ's done. 20.1. Not as good as that great pit stop they had earlier in the race, guys.
Jeff Bodine pulls out. So does Ricky Rudd. And by the way, Rusty Wallace did lead at the halfway point. We've now completed 204 laps, and just about everybody who is running up front has made a pit stop. The second scheduled stops of the afternoon. Here comes Bobby Hamilton. He was in the lead, but now gives that up to make his second pit stop. The STP Pontiac once again headed down pit road. Jerry, he'll be there in just a moment.
Bobby Hamilton led 129 laps in this race a year ago, more than anyone else, and boy, would he love to win it. His car owner has won here 13 times. STP Pontiac crew going to work, right side rubber. They will clean the windshield. We are seeing a lot of debris and oil on these windshields. Apparently, they got behind the car that must have been losing something on the racetrack. Right side tires already on now. Left side going on. Left front, left rear. Flawless pit stop thus far. And car got 20.1 seconds. He heads back for turn 1.
And Dale Jarrett is the leader of the race. You see Rusty Wallace behind him as Jarrett tries to get by the 90. He's not the leader of the race. He's in front of Rusty Wallace. I think the 94 car is probably the leader of the race.
He was the leader, yeah, exactly. 94 has not made a pit stop, and we saw the difference in the time in the pits on Rusty Wallace and Dale Jarrett, but yet Dale came out ahead of Rusty.
I think Rusty having to dodge that tire.
Yeah.
A simple thing is having to go around that tire cost him a second or so.
Yeah, I think you're right. It was left there by Sterling Marlin's crew. Sterling had just pulled out of the pits, and the crew had not gone out to retrieve the tire. And that could have cost him just a couple of tenths a second, but it was enough to put him in second position as they go back out onto the racetrack.
Now, when Rusty Wallace and Dale Jarrett passed Bill Elliott, that put them back in the lead lap. I think Elliott's fixing to come into the pits now, but he was a lap ahead of them until they passed him.
So Bill Elliott, the leader of the race, is now in for his pit stop. He has led 4 circuits. There he is down pit road.
Bill Elliott led 29 laps here a year ago. He has led here today. They will make a track bar adjustment on the McDonald's Ford. Half a round is all. Right side tire is already on. Now, of course, to come around to the left. A second can of fuel. Elliott stretched it. We work lap 2:09. That could be a factor later in the race. We'll have to wait and see. He's on his way back out on the track. 4 tires of fuel and a track bar adjustment to Bill Elliott.
Good stop for Bill. Joe Nemechek comes back into the pits, making another stop, as is David Green. Now, here's what Benny was talking about.
Watch as he comes in. He would like to drive straight in. The 4 cars, he would like to drive straight in. He has to turn around that tire and then back into his pit because he has to get in that box, and that cost a little bit of time.
Yep, sure did.
And that is the difference on the racetrack between them. Jarrett now leading Rusty Wallace. So 211 laps have been completed here at Richmond, and it is Dale Jarrett back out front. The moment, but trying to take it away is Rusty Wallace. Moments ago, we had a lot of smoke from the 42 car of Joe Nemechek.
Yeah, the right front tire was flat on the car. I don't know what might have caused the thing to go flat, but it smoked terribly, and he went into the pits and is still sitting in the pits, as a matter of fact.
Well, he had made a pit stop just before he went out and had this problem. You clearly see, though, that the right front tire was down on the car, and he continues to be there. John, what are they doing?
Well, Bob, after Joe left the pits, went up into the turns, the lower shock mount broke on the right front shock absorber. So the whole car just went over, cut the tire. If that's where you saw the smoke, the tire had deflated, rubbing, it was coming apart. The shock mount broke, and that's what Mike Hillman and the crew are working on right now, trying to replace the shock, the right front shock. Nemechek, when he pulled in, looked over at me and just kind of shook his head and said, oh, well, I have a lot of bad luck last year. Maybe it's continued on to this year.
Well, in the first 3 races, you would guess that is the situation. Let's hope that Joe gets things straightened out as we go along.
There's some cars just trying their best to stay in the lead lap. Spencer, Robert Presley up in front in the Cartoon Network car.
The 4 car of Sterling Marlin has gone a lap down in 19th spot. One of the drivers and cars we haven't talked a great deal about today is Rick Mast in the 75. He is running 8th. That's Bobby Labonte right behind him in 9th place, but Rick is having a good go here.
He's having a great run. Started in 20th spot. And he's a Virginia boy.
And Bill Weber has more.
And it's a very peaceful ride for Rick Mast this afternoon. His crew lost radio contact with Rick on lap 44. They're using hand signals to tell how the car is running. Rick can hear the crew, but the crew can't hear Rick.
So just like the old days when they used hand signals to communicate. I like that.
I know about that.
Joe Nemechek, they've got the work completed on that car for the moment, and he's back in the race. Here's Rick Mast coming up on Dave Marcus now. Bill Elliott.
Dale Jarrett, Ned, has changed his line.
He, a little while ago, he left the car, Benny, and really came off. He was having trouble getting off of turn 2, and he had to come off of that turn high. And as a result, I'm sure his spotter told him, hey, that works there. Try that again.
Watch, folks, as he goes down in and lets the car drift up a little bit. We've been seeing him stay around that yellow line. See how Rusty's standing there? That's how Jarrett's been doing it, but all of a sudden, he's drifting the car up, and it looks like it's working. Watch as he goes up.
Yeah. Rusty's car definitely works better down on the bottom line. And when they get in traffic, the outside line is where you normally have to go, so that might work to Jarrett's advantage a little bit.
That's what beat Dale Jarrett last week. Jeff Gordon changed that line a little bit on him and had a better car last week. So Jarrett right now looking and searching for a better line to beat Rusty Wallace. Watch how Rusty stays on that yellow line, and Jarrett is up high.
Real good view of him from the onboard camera from Rusty Wallace. Well, Dale Jarrett finished second here a year ago, and last in the night race here at Richmond last year, he finished fourth. So he runs his track well, but now Rusty is closing in.
Rusty's really getting a run off that second turn over there from that low groove. It's working well for him.
But traffic up ahead. John Andretti and Dick Trickle are both there. Look at Rusty go to the inside.
Ooh, that was awfully close.
The view from the Pennzoil copter cam around turns 1 and 2 onto the backstretch. Well, let's show you our Bud race recap since we are past the halfway mark and things are settling in here just a bit. Dale Jarrett, the leader, has led 99 of the first 232 laps. 11 lead changes, 1 caution period for 3 laps. The average speed 110.615, and the track record is held by Davey Allison at 107.7, set in March of '93, so we're well above that. These are the guys that have led at least 1 lap and picked up the 5 bonus points. Labonte and Bobby Hamilton have also led 1 lap. And the out of race board is pretty vacant because only 1 car has officially retired from competition. Morgan Shepherd, you saw the hood fly up on that car a while ago, has taken the car behind the wall and retired it for the afternoon. Well, the interval now remains about 3, maybe 4 car lengths separating Dale Jarrett and second place Rusty Wallace.
You know, Jeff Gordon, we saw the car smoking heavily. Folks, no, he is not pitted. Through all this, he is not pitted, and the smoke has gone away. He is currently in 6th spot. So I guess it finally wore the rubber out, and all it was going to wear out, and it didn't cut the tire.
Plus the fact that, Benny, as the tires got hotter, they weren't sticking as good, so the car was not leaning over as much. When you go into the turn and the tires are really sticking, that body leans over. But now he's not sticking as well, so he don't have as much lean in it. So take away the problem.
Jerry Punch can add.
Ned, I'll tell you, I've always thought you were smart, but you must be a genius. That's exactly what Ray Evernham told Jeff Gordon. He said, Jeff, when the car heats up, the tires heat up, and it starts slipping a little bit, the body won't lean over and it won't rub. He said, trust me, my friend. I promise you, it'll stop rubbing, and it did.
Now, he has maintained that 6th position there for quite a while, but you saw Bobby Hamilton right behind him closing in. Now look at the car that's about to go a lap down, Ricky Rudd. He's currently in 15th position and will be the next to go a lap down. So Rudd, who had some worrisome moments early, settles into 15th. Be back with more from Richmond in a moment. Souvenir anyone? They're on sale here at the Pride and Joy of the Sawyer family in Henrico County, Virginia, in the Commonwealth of Virginia, Richmond International Raceway. We've mentioned this before. This is one of the most fan-friendly facilities that NASCAR competes at. And there's always a good show here, as evidenced by this duo of Dale Jarrett and Rusty Wallace as they run first and second, very close, and about to lap Ricky Rudd.
Red is 15th.
Looks like the 88 and 2 are awfully close this afternoon. Very, very easy. Might boil down to a pit stop. And if this thing goes green the rest of the way, we're only talking about probably one more pit stop.
Here comes a Napa Field summary showing you where everybody is running on the racetrack.
In parentheses on the right where the cars started.
Elliott has moved up 10 positions since the race began. There is Rudd listed in 15th position.
There's a drop of water on the lens of the camera.
I hope that didn't rain, although it has clouded up in the last few minutes, but we are well beyond the halfway point, so we're beyond the point where we'll have to come back tomorrow. But I think they're going to be able to get this whole thing in. Let's hope so.
Kyle Petty going the lap down. Kyle's had a good run here today. He had gone a lap down earlier, and fans wondered, well, we saw them pass down before, and he's just now going a lap down. He made an early pit stop, got those new tires on, ran out there faster than the leaders were running for a while, but now it's caught up with him. He goes a lap down once again.
Kyle in 14th position.
I never see Dale Earnhardt, and once again, he has completely missed the combination. Looks like the Dane is.
Yeah, his car is just not what he needs to run with the front runners.
He's 22nd spot, a couple of laps down. I'm sorry, one lap down to Rusty Wallace and Dale Jarrett. Jarrett now the leader of the race, but he's still just struggling, trying to stay in front. That's a battle with Darrell Walter for position.
Right behind him is Terry Labonte, who runs 5th.
Steve Brisson just went a lap down. He's in the 13th position, and Rick Mast, who is 12th, is about to go a lap down.
There goes Labonte on the inside of Earnhardt.
Mast is a lap down, and now the next car to go a lap down is going to be Mark Martin.
And Dale Jarrett's closing in on him pretty quickly. Here they are.
There is Mark, and right behind him is the leader of the race, Dale Jarrett. Well, let's do some speeds, huh? See how everybody's doing out there. We'll do that next time.
Mark watches Dale Jarrett come off the corner.
Not only gives you an indication of the speed, but also the interval between one position and the other.
Dale Jarrett still 114.6 miles per hour. That is fast.
I think that little adjustment they made on that last pit stop, Benny, has helped his car quite a bit.
Well, looks like the slowest car on that particular lap would be Ernie Irvin, and the 24 car of Jeff Gordon you see down there in and the 30 car both ran very good laps that time.
Sterling Martin's not too bad in the 4 car. The 22, Ward Burton, MBNA car, ran over 113 miles per hour. And once again, Jarrett's still over 114 and a half.
He's moved back down on that inside line there now. He saw Wallace was really working on him when Rusty got up there to try to make the pass. So he said, maybe I better move back down here. But when he gets in traffic and takes the high line, Dale's car seems to work a little bit better than Rusty's does up in the second group.
Now just 10 cars remain on the lead lap, so our scoring pylon shows you all the cars that are on the same lap as the leader, Dale Jarrett. Bobby Labonte currently in the 10th position.
And that time we did see Dale Jarrett just keep that left side right on that yellow line around turns 1 and 2.
Bobby Labonte's only about a second and a half in front of him. There you can see the green Interstate Batteries Pontiac up in front of him.
Line the camera down here and let everybody pass by so you can spot your favorite car and driver and see where they are in relation to everybody else. Here comes the Pennzoil Pontiac, and for a guy who wrecked yesterday and started at the rear of the field today, Johnny Benson has done an outstanding job running in 9th spot.
He really has. You see Jeff Gordon right in front of him there.
Jeff has fallen back to 8th now, as you can see.
You know, yesterday afternoon, happy hour only consisted of about 45 minutes, and that was the entire practice for the weekend. And Johnny Benson in this car, this is the backup. he might have had 6 or 7 laps yesterday afternoon before they started the race today.
Yep. Great job. 141 laps to go in this 400-lap race at Richmond. Dale Jarrett leads Rusty Wallace and Jeff Bodine.
In open wheel racing, you've seen drivers wear tearaways on their visor. They rip them off so they have better vision. It takes all the dirt with them. Well, the crew chief for Ricky Rudd, Jim Long, is taking that one step further. They have a tearaway for their windshield. This is in place when Ricky gets in the car to start the race. Then approximately halfway through the race, Tim White goes across the wall, and instead of cleaning the windshield, he rips this off. They did it last week at Rockingham, and Ricky said the difference was like night and day. That tearaway costs about $100. The windshield is $300. Jim Long said we get an extra half a race out of a windshield. It might be in a race. They might also use it during practice. It saves them about $8 grand a year. Back to the race. Dale Earnhardt's on pit road. Dr. Punch.
Dale Earnhardt on pit road for right side and left side tires. The car is still complaining. The driver is still complaining the car is quite loose. He pits a couple laps ago. Mark Martin also came in for a similar problem. Earnhardt is down and away after a 4-tire change.
Looks like they had some trouble on the left rear there. Last one to go on.
I was actually watching the 43 car of Bobby Hamilton. I was not watching the monitor as I'm supposed to, Bob.
Shame on you. The Pennzoil copter cam is giving us some great shots from overhead as Dale Earnhardt picks up speed and gets back in the competition. 9 cars on the lead lap. Several have made pit stops. During the break, Ted Musgrave and Mark Martin came in for pit stops, and that means that they're going to have to stop at least one more time, aren't they?
Yes, they will. They certainly will. Most of the others have been stopping, around the 100 lap mark, and they stopped about 40 laps short of that. So yeah, they'll have to stop.
You see, Dale Jarrett's been able to get by that traffic, and Rusty Wallace is hung behind him.
Well, John Kernan has always been our resident meteorologist, at least weather prognosticator. What's it look like, John?
Bob, we're looking at the radar image. It's about 35 minutes old. The Richmond International Raceway is in the middle of the screen right there. You see no moisture, no precipitation falling 35 minutes ago around us. However, remember the sun was out for a while. There's a lot of moisture on the ground. That means convection. That moisture goes up into the air. You see some clouds moving in. Even though this looks clean, we might still have a chance of a shower a little later on. But a lot of teams have been coming up here, checking it out. Mike Enke from Rusty Wallace's team, in fact, just left here about 5 minutes ago. Look, then he said, all right.
He used one of those $20 words, BP, convection.
John, we're dollar people. Quit using those $20 words. Uh-oh, Jeff Gordon going a lap down.
Yes.
They're about to go a lap down.
The 10th place car of Bobby Labonte has gone a lap down already, and now Jeff Gordon is about to, as Dale Jarrett heads into the second lane in the 4th corner.
He went high and he couldn't do it up there, so he decides to go low.
That is the 1997 Winston Cup points leader. It's the 24 car.
Had won the first 2 races of '97. Nobody has ever won the first 3 races of any season in NASCAR Winston Cup competition. And it looks like that record will stand, at least at the moment. But boy, Jeff made an outstanding comeback last week to win that race at Rockingham.
There's Michael Waltrip in car number 21. He just came out of the pit, so he's flying. And Ted Musgrave also in car number 16. They'll blow right on by the leader.
And right now, the 88 car putting just a little bit of distance on the 2 car of Rusty Wallace.
I think that traffic has something to do with it, Benny. We talked about the Dale car seems to get through the traffic a little bit better because he can run the high line if he needs to. And trickle in the pits.
Now we see Jeff Gordon is trying to get back in front of Dale Jarrett as he's hung behind this.
Well, coming up next here on ESPN, the Southern Conference Championship. The University of Tennessee at Chattanooga versus Marshall. That's coming up right after the coverage of this Pontiac Excitement 400 here at Richmond. You can see the clouds overhead. They are getting a little lower and a little darker, but we've only got 125 laps to go.
Jeremy Mayfield, the 37 car. K. Martin going down a lap.
He's 5 laps down now, buddy. No, I beg your pardon. I looked at the wrong number. He is 2 laps down in 20th position, Jeremy Mayfield.
Bobby Hill in the 77 car. And Rusty Wallace now trying to fight his way through that traffic. There's Jeff Bodine still hanging in there.
Yep. And Bobby Hamilton just got around Terry Labonte, so Hamilton goes to 5th.
There they are.
Yep.
They're not too far ahead of the leader.
No, they aren't.
They're about 2 seconds out in front of the leader.
You ever see those cars, and here comes the leader.
Yeah, they're not very far ahead at all. 4 top 5s in 8 short track races last year for Dale Jarrett. But he's never won on a short track, has he?
No, not in the Winston Cup competition.
We don't want to jinx him here, but check the top 10 in speeds as they come down at the line.
And we see that Dale Jarrett slowed down to 113.1, slowed down a little, almost a mile and a half per hour.
Jeff Gordon in the pits. Bill Weber.
Right there.
Lap 280, and they could probably go the rest of the way after this stop. 120 laps, right side tires. Gas is in. They'll come around, change the left side. Gordon losing time, obviously, here as the race stays under green. Second can of fuel, trying to top up the tank. Get every drop of gasoline in they can. Waiting on the left front. The DuPont Chevy down and away. 21 seconds and change for Jeff Gordon back into the race.
And the damage there on the right side of the car again was when he hit the barrels entering pit road last pit stop.
Terry Labonte is coming into the pits, the Winston Cup champion. Just got lapped and decided to come down pit road.
Jerry Punch, he's headed toward you.
This should be the final scheduled pit stop for the defending Winston Cup champion. The Kellogg's crew now scamper to the right side of the car. They will make a wedge adjustment in the left rear to try to tighten the car up slightly. Car being a bit loose entering the corner. Right side tires on. They scrubbed that windshield. Left side tires not going on the Kellogg Chevrolet. They got it full of fuel. Problems the left rear. The tire on. Lug nuts 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He is down and away. 21.7 seconds.
Now remember, NASCAR changed the rule for this year, and the Winston Cup champion from the previous year does not get to pick his pit first after qualifying. It's the guy who is the pole sitter, but because we had no qualifying here and they lined up according to last year's points, he got the #1 pick. The 25 car of Ricky Craven comes on pit road. So do Maston Marlin. John.
Well, remember Ricky Craven had to start from the rear of the field in his backup car. It's the car that Kenny Schrader ran here last year. They're having some problems today trying to figure everything out. Right side tires to change. Looks like they're going to make a wedge adjustment in the left rear. Left side's going on. Yeah, they screw down on the wedge bolt. The jack bolt left rear down and away. A pretty good stop.
You know, Jeff Gordon made that pit stop just a moment ago. I want to show you just how fortunate these guys are. He comes in, and he'll stop, and they start trying to get the quarter panel, the rear fender, off the tire. You see about where it says finishes, the F and finishes? The quarter panel is split. Right now, fellas, in my way. As soon as they finish that and go around the other side, I'll show you. The quarter panel is split. It's going to make it much easier right there. It's going to make it much easier for this guy to pull that sheet metal away from the tire. If it were not split, it would be much stronger. Watch as he just simply pulls it away. That little split right there really made it easier.
Good point.
Well, then he's observing, isn't he?
I'm telling you, he didn't miss a lick.
Well, I was wondering how one guy with his hands was going to be able to do it. But it turned out not to be a problem.
And now he passes some cars because of the fresh tires. Jeff Gordon has fallen back to 17th at the moment. The lead continues to be held by Dale Jarrett. Rusty Wallace is second. Jeff Bodine third. followed by Ernie Irvan and Bobby Hamilton.
Around to the left front. All the fuel's already in. The left rear is done. Just taking the left front tire off. It's the long stop. And there, Jeff's already in and away. And the 2088 car returns to the race.
Slow pit stop for Dale Jarrett. Ernie Irvan, the fourth-place car, also in and away. It was almost a 26-second pit stop for Dale Jarrett, and that is slow by Winston Cup standards.
Looks like the lug nuts fell off the right front tire as he went to change the tire. Oh, boy, we got something going on here now.
And Jeff Bodine is the current leader of the race. He has not made a pit stop, but he just pitted.
Yeah, he pitted when Jarrett did. Yeah. All right. He came out ahead of Dale Jarrett. Rusty Wallace has himself a good, probably a 6-second lead right now.
Yeah, let's take a look at this again and see what happened.
Ever see, the 29 car and the 21 of Michael Waltrip. And Michael Waltrip almost spun right in front of that group of cars.
Wow. He was sideways and saved it. Nice save by Michael Waltrip.
Rusty Wallace is now 6 6/10 seconds ahead of Dale Jarrett. And he's got clear sailing out in front of him. Jarrett has a lot of traffic in front of him as Bill Elliott comes down pit road.
Bill Weber is right there.
And Bill Elliott brings the McDonald Ford down pit road. Lap 302 on the board. There should be a 4-tire change and enough fuel to get Elliott to the finish. Off to a very strong start on the leaderboard again this week. Remember, a strong start at Daytona. They make a track bar adjustment. Come around to the left side of the car. Jack goes down, car goes up, tires come off, left rear's on, the front is on. We'll tighten the lug nuts and we'll send Bill Elliott back into the race in 20.4 seconds.
Awesome Bill from Dawsonville is back out there.
Now everyone should have made their last pit stop. They should be able to go the rest of the way from here.
And the lead is held by Rusty Wallace when everything is shaken out. And third place now belongs to Dale Jarrett.
And not only did Dale Jarrett have a bad pit stop, when he came back on the racetrack, he was behind all this traffic, and he's still working his way through the traffic. And it's not, there's no slow cars out here. Every car today is fast, and it's taking him some time to get through.
He's trying to go around Rick Mast, who was in the top 10 for a while. Now he has fallen back to 16th position. Here's Rusty Wallace down the backstretch, and the interval between him.
There's a 7 car just going out of the frame. That's a second place car. And there we see Dale Jarrett. That's up far behind you.
I mentioned a moment ago it was 6.6. Now it's 7.6 because he got tied up in all that traffic.
93 laps to go. We are on pace for a record here at Richmond International Raceway today. We have only had, one caution period, haven't we? And that was in the very, very early stages of the race.
When the leader of the race, Rusty Wallace, spun out.
Yep. And from his onboard camera, we see him with clear traffic ahead for the next lap or so. Let's do an interval leaderboard next time by. We'll see how far Rusty is ahead of Jeff Bodine, Dale Jarrett, and the others.
There we see Jeff Bodine 5 1/4 seconds, and there we see Jarrett 7.7 seconds behind the lead. There you see the rest of the car. Jeff Gordon almost 13 seconds, and Ernie Irvan a little bit over that. Terry Labonte 16.5.
And the interval back to 10th is just over 22 seconds. Do it again. 7.61 between first and third now. 16 3/4 seconds back to fifth, almost 19.5 ahead of Bobby Labonte, Bobby Hamilton.
Now there you see the 10th place car, the 30 car of Johnny Benson. He is in 10th spot on the lead lap.
We'll take a break and be back with more live coverage of the Pontiac Excitement 400. 400 laps completed here at Richmond. The lead is held by Rusty Wallace. The 6th car of Mark Martin relinquishes 11th position, and Martin makes another pit stop in the Valvoline Ford.
Yeah, we'd said earlier that he'd have to make another pit stop. He came in a lot earlier than the others, and so he was going to have to make one more. Decided to do it now, Jerry.
Well, they had tried all day to get this car tight. In fact, Mark's car just about spun coming out of turn 4 a few laps ago. Nearly tagged the outside wall. The car had gotten so loose. They decided to go ahead and bring him back in now, taking a chance on him losing the race car and possibly a poor finish. He's back on the racetrack.
Well, Jeff Gordon is running in 5th spot at the moment, and that reminds us that Jeff Gordon is the true value NASCAR man of the race. He has won the first 2 races of the 1997 NASCAR Winston Cup season, 6 wins in the last 11 NASCAR races, and true value is donating $1,000 to his favorite charity, the Leukemia Society of America. Jeff actively participates in raising money by sponsoring the Racing for a Reason program. His dedication to the Leukemia Society has not gone unnoticed, and True Value is proud to recognize Jeff's achievements both on and off the racetrack.
Well, very nice. Thank you very much, True Value.
There is Ray Evernham, who's watching his driver in 5th position. Bill Weber is there.
Well, Evernham and his crew were trying to make history at the beginning of the day. Now they're trying to salvage a good finish. How is your car, and is that sheet metal on the right rear a problem?
We've got it pulled out. It's not rubbing anymore. We need a caution to get caught up and adjust on it. It's been a little bit off all day long, and we've got them short fitting right now, but we really need a caution.
Okay, and they can go the rest of the way on fuel. That's not a problem. And one crew member did tell me that their car has been getting better throughout the day. They think they can finish strong here, and they have their fingers crossed.
Battle for 2nd position now as Dale Jarrett begins to make up on the racetrack what he lost in the pits. He's battling with Jeff Bodine for that runner-up spot.
Wow, made that high move and then dipped down to the inside, got him a good run off turn 4 and makes the pass.
He's a man on a mission. After that pit stop that was almost 26 seconds, Dale says, well, I got to do it all by myself out here, and he is going to give it a whirl.
Took over that 2nd spot. Is he gaining any on Rusty Wallace?
He's picked up about a second on him since we last clocked it. Depends on the weather, the lap traffic as to how much difference there is between them.
Here's the Napa Field summary. 7 cars are on the lead lap with Rudd, Benson, and Labonte in the top 10, but each a lap down. Rick Mast has fallen back to 15th. Bill Elliott was in the top 10 for a while. He's in 18th spot now.
Bill might run a little bit too far on that one set of tires. He led the race for a few laps there, but boy, staying out there on those old tires and others having new tires, they'll pick up a second a lap on you, and it don't take long to get way behind. Then that's hard to make up.
If this race were to end right now, we believe we would set a record for number of cars still in the race at the end of the event. As the Napa Field summary shows you, only 1 car, Morgan Shepherd, is out of competition. We started 43, and 42 are still out there.
Yes, there we see 3 of Brent in the corner, but Garrett is able to get by as Jeremy Mayfield, the 37 car, backed off. I remember North Wilkesboro a couple of years ago, every car finished the race, but that was only a starting field of 36 cars.
Yep. This was the largest field of Winston Cup cars ever to take the green flag here at Richmond. They've increased the starting field of all the short track races this year in NASCAR Winston Cup. Well, Bill has more on Jeff Bodine.
And maybe the turnaround season for Jeff Bodine, and maybe the turnaround race. We'll have to wait and see. A lot of things contributing to this. A new crew chief and Pat Streisand. Bob Glidden doing research and development for his engines. In fact, Bob's son Bill has been at the track all weekend and is in Bodine's pits. But today, he's not only on the track, but off the track. There's 3 pit stops, 17.2, 17.9, and 17.9. 3 stops under 18 seconds, all 4 tires and fuel. Jeff Bodine looking stronger and stronger. Maybe might get one here today with a little luck down the stretch here.
And Jeff Bodine's last top 10 finish here was in 1992. So Jeff Bodine is doing very well here in 3rd position with 70 laps to go, but out in front at the moment is Rusty Wallace, running in clean traffic. He is coming up on the 7th place car of Bobby Hamilton. We'll be right back. 65 laps to go here in Richmond. Rusty Wallace, car number 2, the Miller Lite Ford, is the leader of the race. He's battling with Dale Earnhardt, who just made a pit stop.
Yeah, he put on tires on his Goodwrench Chevrolet, and of course he's going to be faster there for a little while now. Rusty has no choice but to let him go.
Looked like that Rusty was in fact going to lap him, but it took Earnhardt a couple laps to get those tires scuffed in, and when he did that, then Earnhardt was able to get by him.
As Earnhardt now being shown 3 laps down in 30th position.
Let's go for a report from Jerry Punch.
A minute ago, one of Rusty Wallace's Penske South crew members came up and said, "Hey, Doc, do you follow NASCAR history?" I said, "Sure." He said, "Well, how about a year ago? Jeff Gordon struggled in Daytona, came here to Richmond, won the race. That turned their year around. He went on to become a champion. This year, we struggled in Daytona, finished 41st. That's why we want to win here. We know this one could be the magic we need to send us toward a championship."
In the last 25 short track races, Rusty Wallace has won 8 of them. He has finished in the top 5 18 out of 25 events and 22 of 25 in the top 10. He leads all drivers with an average finish of 6.3 in the last 25 short track races.
Oh, maybe trouble.
Yeah, that could have been trouble right there.
That was really, really close because Bobby Hamilton is running in 7th place. You see him there on the pylon. He's trying his best not to go a lap down to Rusty Wallace and going to make it 3 abreast going down in the corner.
Did he damage that left rear?
I don't know. The yellow is gone off the tire on Rusty Wallace's car. You see how the left front looks like it's white and the left rear is black. That means he rubbed all that paint off the tire, the left rear tire on Rusty Wallace's car.
Looks like there could be just a little bit of damage back there, but there is no smoke coming from the tire. See? Yep. Oh, yeah.
Well, that's where Ricky Rudd, you remember Ricky Rudd made some contact out there before.
Yep.
What I'm going by is there's no yellow paint on that tire. That means that someone got awfully close.
Well, seeing Rusty Wallace in the lead in the Miller car and spinning and coming into lead, it reminds us, of course, the year that Danny Sullivan spun and won in the Miller car at the Indianapolis 500.
He did his a little more dramatic than
a little more dramatically, yeah.
There's Rusty coming up on the 5 car as Bobby Hillam comes into the pits in the Jasper Engines car.
He's running in 34th position, 5 laps down, and he's going to take it behind the wall.
Uh-oh. It's like an engine problem. Well, I know it's still running, so I shouldn't speculate.
There's Terry Labonte going a lap down in 6th spot, so now only 5 cars are on the lead lap. 5th place belongs to Jeff Gordon.
Jeff's still about 4 seconds ahead of Rusty Wallace.
Remember, coming up next, the Southern Conference Championship, as a lot of basketball titles are being decided prior to the NCAA tournament. The Final 4 of which is in Indianapolis.
Oh, really? Yeah. Good for you.
How about that? There's Chad Little in the 97 car. He's in 36th position, 6 laps down to the field.
There we see the 88 car, the 2nd place car, Dale Jarrett.
He's narrowed that gap, Vinny, but I don't think he has enough time to make it up.
Well, we're running out of time. Rusty's starting to get a little off the corner.
Well, you wonder if maybe if there was a slight nick in that tire or something. DJ's knocked about 2 seconds off that lead. You know, it was 7.79 when we checked it the last time, so a little over 2 seconds off of it.
By the way, this is the first race that Rusty Wallace has led since North Wilkesboro last year.
The 77 car, I'm told, has broken the gear in the car.
All right. So Rusty continues to circulate out there, trying to hold off the challengers and win his first race of the 1997 NASCAR Winston Cup season. Back in a moment. Back in In Rico County, Virginia, Richmond International Raceway and the Pontiac Excitement 400. Here's the Napa Field summary. 5 cars on the lead lap. Jeff Gordon in 5th position. As this race is winding down now, Rusty Wallace looking for his first win since Bristol last year, the 2nd race of the year at Bristol. We're going to take another quick break and be back with more of our live coverage of this event. Only 1 car out of the race right now. That's Morgan Shepherd. ESPN Speed Ahead from the Pennzoil Copter Cam. As 40 cars of the 42 that started are still going around the racetrack. Bobby Hillen is the last one to officially drop out. 2 cars also dropped out of last year's race here. That's how close Jeff Gordon is to being lapped in 5th place.
Here's Rusty Wallace on the right of the screen in the blue and white Miller Lite Ford as they go by Chad Little in his Pontiac. Number 97, the green and yellow car.
Actually, Chad's going by them. I think he has some fresh tires. And
okay.
He passed Rusty a few laps ago, and now Rusty's closing back up on him.
Sterling Marlin in the pits and Dave Marcus.
Just made a pit stop while we were in break, as did Dave Marcus. Here's Jerry Punch to call Sterling's stop.
Well, they're going to put 2 rounds of bite in the left rear, which should be the final pit stop for Sterling Marlin. He is 2 laps down. They put 2 rounds of bite left rear, left front tires on. He is down and away. A lot of cars struggling here trying to find the handle. Remember, they had no practice prior to happy hour yesterday.
Oh, Rusty almost lost it coming off the corner.
Did he ever?
Whoa.
Wow. And Rusty and Jeff Gordon don't want to just lay over and let him go by and put himself that lap down.
Let's take a look at it.
He was down on the inside of Gordon coming off of turn 4, and I'm sure when he pressed on the accelerator there, the back end is going to just break loose. There she goes. Slides out. Rusty, the master that he is, was able to get her back under control, but lost some time.
Nice save by Rusty.
So he still hasn't been able to put Jeff Gordon. There he is still one more time trying to put him a lap down. And Rusty Wallace's car right now, I think he's going to be glad to see the 400-mile mark because it's getting a little bit loose.
Well, Dale Jarrett has cut the lead to under 4 seconds now. So he's cut it almost in half, but still, you know, there are only 37 laps to go.
And Rusty does put Jeff Gordon a lap down. So now only 4 cars are on the lead lap. As you can see on the scoring pylon, 28 car Bernie Irvin is in 4th position. Only 37 laps to go. The sky is beginning to again darken up. No rain at the moment. It was 5.4 seconds the last time we checked the interval between Rusty and Dale, and now it's 3.74.
So he is definitely getting closer and closer. And Rusty Wallace right now, I think Ned is fighting a loose race car.
I think he is.
Almost 16 seconds ahead of Ernie Irvin. And, of course, he has more than a lap on Rusty and Jeff Gordon.
Now he has some very clean racetrack. And we see Rusty Wallace going high, trying to cool those tires down, running that high line, trying to get those tires cooled down so he can go back to the bottom of the racetrack.
Jerry has more on Rusty Wallace.
Rusty hasn't said anything at all to the crew. I asked him Robin Timberton, said, do you have any ideas? So, well, I think what he did is he jumped in the throttle and spun the tire, heated them up, and now the car is just not handling very well. It's still slipping and sliding coming off the corner. But Rusty hasn't specifically said anything to the crew. As you said, Benny, if he can get these tires to cool back down, the handle will come back to him maybe for at least the next 43 laps.
The interval down to 3.29, still closed it up just a little. We'll continue to keep an eye on it as Rusty once again encounters some slower traffic. Robbie Gordon goes another lap down. Joe Nemechek is just 57 laps remain in the Pontiac Excitement 400 at Richmond International Raceway, the 3rd race of the 1997 NASCAR Winston Cup season. Rusty Wallace leads. Now let's take a look at the top 5 in the point standings going into this race. Jeff Gordon started 2nd, is now 5th. Ricky Craven gridded 12th, but remember he started at the rear of the pack because he started in a backup car. He's currently 15th. Terry Labonte started on the pole. He's now 8th. Jeff Burton started 13th. He's way back in 42nd position after having brake problems earlier. And Ricky Rudd started 6th, is now 7th. Once again, a reminder about Championship Week and ESPN's coverage, which will come up right after the conclusion of our event, the Southern Conference Championship.
And Rusty Wallace now has moved his car back to the very bottom of the racetrack, right on that yellow line, trying to stand there. We see Dale Jarrett, 25 laps to go, about 1 straightaway behind Rusty Wallace. We'll check the interval once again at the line. A little over 2.5 seconds, so he's getting closer and closer.
He's made up over 5 seconds, Benny. That's quite a gain. That's considerable. But does he have enough time?
Just 24 laps remain in this one. An incredible pace here this afternoon. Reduced only once early on by a spin involving that man right there, the guy that's leading, Rusty Wallace. The car sustained a little bit of damage on the left rear, but it has not hampered his performance in the least. There's second place Jarrett. So while the interval closes, this race is far from over. We're going to take another break and be back as 378 laps have now been completed. First shot from Kenny Wallace shows you that we are in a second caution period because Kenny just blew up as the car went into the first corner. A lot of smoke. The pit stops are beginning, and this could be the race here. It depends a great deal on who can get out first as to who might win this race.
And wouldn't you know it, Rusty's brother, he had the lead there, but his brother's the one that blew the engine. Let's go to the pits now.
Here is Dale Jarrett. Triple pits, 288 and 7 on your screen, top to bottom. Right side for DJ. They go to the right side of the 7 and the right side of the 2. They're cleaning the windshield on Jarrett's car. Down to Jerry Combs.
The right side tire is already on Rusty Wallace's car now. Left side going on. There was a rub mark on the left front tire. Rusty Wallace's as Bill is in Bodine's pit.
Away. DJ pulled away, and the 7 followed him out of the pit road there, guys.
Yep, it's Wallace, Jarrett, and Bodine in that order. There you can see the times on the pit stops with Rusty Wallace the best with an 18.2 and Jarrett the slowest with a 19.7.
And the reason that Jeff Bodine didn't get out in front of Jarrett, even though his pit stop was almost a second faster, he had not really caught up to the field when he came into the pits. He was about a second or so behind him.
Now, this is the reason that we are under caution. Big puff of smoke from Kenny's car.
Yes, blowing up down in turn 1, and NASCAR officials concerned. And Jeff Bodine might have gotten some oil on his windshield. He might have had trouble finding the pit road, and one reason he was slow getting in.
So just 18 laps remain now, and the field is packed up behind the pace car. It's going to be a shootout to the finish. Are about to go green, and they are not in pretty good formation to take this green flag, I want to tell you. Everybody thinks he should be ahead of the guy in front of him, but nevertheless the green flag comes out, and here we go for the last 15 laps.
Well, the front 2 cars cleared the left traffic going into turn 1. Jeff Bodine got caught up on the outside there, though. That's going to hurt him.
Oh, and we see Jeff Gordon almost made contact with the 4-car Sterling Marlin. But meanwhile, here comes Jarrett on the outside of Rusty.
He couldn't make the pass, so he looked up to down to the low side. That didn't work either. Jarrett continues to stalk him, and now Jeff Bodine begins to give Dale Jarrett a challenge.
Well, Jeff Bodine didn't hurt him. Now Gordon comes on the inside, and that might hurt him.
Now remember, Jeff is a lap down in 5th position. Only 4 cars are on the lead lap. Those 3 there, other than Gordon, and Ernie Irvin is also on the lead lap. But Rusty Wallace stretches the advantage out now to about 2.5 car lengths. Jarrett closes in once again. Looks like Jeff Gordon may have his car running as good as it has all day, but unfortunately he's a lap down, and a car on the wall was Mike Skinner. No caution. The car drifted up high.
And here's Jeff Gordon going by Dale Jarrett on the outside. Although that's not for position.
Gordon trying to unlap himself here in the closing stages.
But Jeff, right now, Dale Jarrett wants him to go up there, and he wants him to pass Rusty Wallace. Get on the inside of it. Give me an open, and I can get alongside of it. Come on, Jeff.
That's what he wants.
And there's racing back there as well. Musgrave and Spencer are side by side. But up front, Rusty Wallace is trying to keep Jeff Gordon behind him.
Wow, look at that big, mean Chevrolet right up that nose up there.
Look how close they are.
Oh, it's a contact. Contact between us. Look at the damage to the left front fender. Jeff Gordon's car. That's in the right rear of Rusty Wallace. And Gordon's going to try it again.
He may have it here. Gordon has a good run off the corner. They go into turn number 1. Gordon on the outside tries to unlap himself. And now look at Dale Jarrett. Jarrett is on the high side also. Rusty, however, maintains the lead, but Gordon is back on the lead lap.
Jarrett's going to try to get on the outside. Here he goes. He's there.
He may have it here coming off. Oh, and a car in the wall is Ernie Irvin. Is there a caution? There will be, I'm sure. Yes, the caution is out.
It's going to be a race back to the line. Jeff Gordon will be back on the lead lap, but who's going to get back here first? Would it be Dale Jarrett or Rusty Wallace? This could be the end of the race.
7 laps to go when they come around. Oh, they've got Ernie right there in front of him. Here they come off the corner. Rusty goes low, Jarrett high. Who crossed the line? Oh, and Jeff Bodine was right there also.
He was in the mix as well, and Jeff Gordon now is still a lap down.
I thought Jarrett got to the line first. Of course, naturally, I'd see it that way.
Well, I did too, Ned.
Some pretty heavy contact to Ernie Irvin's car.
Yes, that car is blocking the entrance to the pit area off of corner number 4.
Tough break for Ernie, running in the 4th position. Had run a great race all day long.
Watch this.
Now, Jeff Gordon comes up there and sees Ernie. He slows dramatically. And here comes the leaders. One on the outside, one on the inside.
And one in the middle.
And one in the middle.
Jeff Bodine didn't have anywhere to go.
At the line.
I don't know. That's close.
It's pretty hard to call from that angle.
I expect NASCAR's going to...
It is Jarrett. It's Jarrett in front, and Gordon is now a lap down.
How about that?
4 cars coming down the line side by side.
And only 6 laps remain. 5.5 laps remain. Ernie Irvin's car will be gotten off the racetrack just as quickly as humanly possible by the track officials here. We'll be right back to see what happens in the closing laps of the Pontiac Excitement 400. Half a lap to go to the green flag. It'll be a 3-lap shootout. Remember, coming up next here on ESPN, the UT Chattanooga and Marshall, as the Southern Conference Championship is up for grabs, and the championship of the Pontiac Excitement 400 is up for grabs here, and some smoke seen from Bill Elliott.
Rusty Wallace got him a great start there.
Here he comes, Rusty Wallace to the inside of Dale Jarrett. They run side by side in the corner, and Rusty Wallace has the lead back. Now Jeff Bodine challenges Dale Jarrett for 2nd position down the backstretch.
Now, DJ was fast on the high side there right before that caution came out, but he's not fast enough now. He's battling for his life for 2nd.
Bodine and Jarrett make contact as Rusty Wallace pulls ahead by about a car length and a half. Next time around, they'll see the white flag. 1 more lap to go. Look at the battle for 2nd position. Back of the leader, Wallace again contact off the 2nd corner. Wallace heads for the white flag. 1 more lap to go. Bodine and Jarrett continue to pound on each other behind Rusty Wallace. All of that action is helping Rusty Wallace pull away from the rest of the field. It looks like he's going to be able to do it and win the race. The question is, who's going to finish 2nd? Now Jeff Bodine has pulled ahead of Dale Jarrett for 2nd position off of corner number 4, and Rusty Wallace wins the Pontiac Excitement 400.
Jeff Bodine will be 2nd. Dale Jarrett will be
a crash up in corner number 3 as Chad Little hits the wall, but the car keeps going, and he's going to be able to cross the line. Well, it's the first win for Rusty since Bristol last year. Here's Bill Weber.
And Robin Pemberton, a wild finish there, but you had a great car. You came back from that spin.
Yeah, it was a good car all day. You know, we were one of the best cars. The lap traffic hurt us a little bit, but it hurt everybody. You know, I'd like to say hello to Bray Briggs, my wife Lisa at home, and my dad recovering from heart surgery.
Tell me about that restart.
Man, you got to get in the blocks and got to go.
Celebration from the Miller Light Crew. Well, there perhaps is the aftermath of what happened up in corner number 3 last lap as Robbie Gordon and Chad Little exchanged some more paint. Well, Rusty Wallace comes home with a victory, his 47th career win. For the 6th time, Rusty Wallace wins at Richmond, tying him with the most wins with Darrell Waltrip among the active drivers. Let's go down for our McDonald's Winner Circle interview. Here's Dr. Punch.
A popular win at Richmond. This capacity crowd on their feet, Rusty. I don't know where to start. Let's start with that last restart. What a start you had on Dale Jarrett.
Well, Robin told me, man, don't be sleeping. This is our last shot. You know, we thought we had a real dominant car throughout the day. No, I didn't need that last caution flag, that's for sure. But the car really ran great today. It handled absolutely perfect. The motor was real strong. Pit stops are good. Transmission was good. I was just real proud of the entire team and the whole crew for what they've done for me today.
Okay, 10 laps to go. You're battling with Jeff Gordon to keep him a lap down. He gets by, then you're battling Dale Jarrett, and suddenly there's Ernie Irvin in the middle of the racetrack.
Yeah, I didn't really get that one. I didn't know why Gordon's up there with one lap down racing with the leaders. I thought it was a little ridiculous, but it's all right. It just made it real hard for me at the end there to have to keep Jarrett behind, but that's racing. Got to remember things like that.
Rusty, congratulations on a great win.
Thank you. We just named a new car today, Jerry. It's a brand new short track car we built at Penske Racing, and this is PC2. We just named it RP after our car owner, Roger Penske. It's a hell of an owner. Gives us all the materials we need to win races. We love him to death. Wish he was down here with us.
All right, Roger Penske in Victory Lane. That's the name of the car that won the 39th annual Pontiac Excitement 400.
How about that? Rusty Wallace wins. And remember, coming up next, right after we wrap up our coverage here, the Southern Conference Championship, UT Chattanooga and Marshall. Back in a moment. This is what set up the finish. This is what happened to Ernie Irvin late in the event. Let's take a look at it.
Going in turn 3, there was him right in the middle of the racetrack, the black car, red numbers. And all of a sudden, it's like the throttle hung or the left front tire went flat or the brakes went away, something. All of a sudden, straight ahead, the car goes into the wall. And Ernie has no control. The car's just going wherever it wants to. And finally, it stops about right down there. Now watch from the helicopter as Jarrett and Rusty Wallace are battling for the lead as they come around 3 and 4. All of a sudden, there's Ernie Irvin. Remember, Jeff Gordon has got his lap back. There's Ernie. They go above him. Gordon has slowed down. Here they come, 4 abreast.
Jeff Bodine trying to get position there, too. Well, Dale had the advantage at the line there, but when they came around for the green flag to finish the race on 3 laps, it was Rusty Wallace who passed Dale and went on to victory. But we will be back to talk to the second-place finisher, Dale Jarrett, in just a moment. Oh, he finished 3rd, I'm sorry. We'll talk to him in just a moment.
What a scramble back for Jeff Gordon. Jeff, so close at the end, you almost got that lap back.
Well, first, I'm real happy finishing 4th, but I'm a little disappointed that, I didn't get my lap back there and have a shot at winning it, because on new tires, I think we were the best car out there. But, I got my lap back, had to fight with Rusty there a little bit. He didn't want to give it up too easy, which I don't blame him. And the caution came out, and, I was having a little bit of trouble with my radio all day long, but I kind of heard him say there's a wreck in 4. Well, all I was trying to do was just race back as hard as I could, and I got there, and Ernie's sitting in the middle of the track. I got on the brakes too much and lost momentum. They got by me by the time we got to the line, and I really feel like that really prevented us from having a shot winning this thing.
All right, Jeff, great run back to finish 4th. And the good news down here, guys, Ernie Irvin is okay.
We got to get to basketball, but let's show you the unofficial results. The double yellow arrows indicate that Dale Jarrett, who finished 3rd, led the most laps and picks up 10 bonus points. We go through these quickly because we got to get out of here. What a great weekend in Richmond.
As the fabulous, both races, great endings.
And the points, Jeff Gordon continues to hold the advantage by 59 over Labate. Ricky Rudd, third, then Jarrett and Ricky Craven. Congratulations to Rusty Wallace. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. Now to Dave Sims and Larry Connolly with basketball.